Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Welcome in. Welcome to
Hello.
Hey.
welcome to Grow Big TV. So we got myself, Korky, and we have a special guest today. It's Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head, or
The Mrs.
Lauren.
part, yeah.
Yeah, where's Mister?
Mr. doesn't like to be on camera, so I'm representing for Mr. tonight.
And Lauren also has another partner on her show, and she's actually in the airport right now.
She
And
is.
she's in the airport, and she actually asked today if she could come on, but I'm like, well, it's not going to quite work at the airport.
She kind of realized that afterwards, but she thanked you very much for the invitation and hoping the two of us can come on again sometime soon.
Definitely. So today's growing guide is on tomatoes. Tomatoes, and more tomatoes. That's all we're going to talk about, tomatoes. We're going to give out some micro dwarf tomatoes today. We'll give out some maybe some dwarfs and some MI Gardner seeds. That's going to be later on in the show. So welcome in. Let's see who is in the chat. Well, we have Gil from Camp Patton Family Compound, becoming a green stalker. Welcome in.
Welcome.
Lake Files is here. Welcome, Lake. Welcome in.
Coming in. Who else we got up in here? Let's see.
You got Dana Smith.
Becoming a green stalker. Did you already say that?
I don't know, but welcome in twice.
I become a green stalker. Thanks for watching.
Built on a rock homestead. Helena M.
Hey, Nicole.
Let's see. It's tough when you go through this chat and you can't find any, but here's our mod, Jane Doe.
Thanks for being here. Ginger Ninja's here. Thank you for coming in. Happy Mac. And the Rebel herself. Thank you, Rebel Canners, for coming in.
You have Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Welcome in. So this is when I got to get my glasses on, Lauren. I can't see anything anymore.
That's why when you watch me on my lives, I'm usually like this because I'm like I need them for distance, but not reading, so I always look kind of dorky.
M. Kelly, Juju B. We got Nicole Smith Gardening. Thank you so much. Susan, thanks for coming in. And we have CR, which made me so, like Luke made me so hungry the other day. I was worried about you, CR. I was really worried. I thought you were going to eat everything in your house. AJ Dixon, thanks for coming in. Oh, we got a lot of people I haven't seen before. Kathleen Moran, thank you for coming in. Appreciate ya.
It's the Marshmallow Man.
Marshmallow Man is here. What's up, Lewis?
How you doing, Happy Mac? Well, everybody's starting to pile in right now. So thank you guys for all coming. We appreciate that.
Right. Thank you so much. Are you guys ready for some tomato edumacation? I know I am. This is going to be great. Let's see.
Welcome in, Gear. Welcome in, Gear Grinding.
Here. Thank you so much.
We have Okie Grower 75. Welcome in. Okay, guys, we're going to get right down to it. We're going to go to our growing guide. And when we go through the growing guide, we're all going to chime in on things because things could be a little different. Lauren and I grow in the same region, but, Korky doesn't. And somebody else might grow in another kind of region. So things kind of change. Stats change right away. Like the world's largest tomato. That just popped up on our show the other day, which was pretty amazing. Things grow fast. What's in a book could change by the moment. Who else just came in? Okay, so we're going to go right to our guide. It's going to be a lot of facts on our show today, guys. A lot of things you might never heard of, which is pretty exciting. Then after this, we go over growing guides, giving out seeds. We got little segments by Paula Ruffin and Jujubi. So a lot of stuff to go over. And I'm sorry this is a little crooked. My sheets came out perfect, but I have no idea how it went through the copier this way. So just got to tilt your head a little bit and hope it doesn't get a little neck ache at night. So history. Tomatoes originate from the Andes, grown wild in what is now Peru, Bolivia, Chile, and Ecuador. And if I pronounce anything wrong, It's okay. It happens. The Incas and Aztecs were the first to cultivate the fruit in early 1700 AD. The English word tomato actually comes from the Aztec tomatao. See, I can't pronounce things either, but that's okay. Now, that information right there, guys, that actually came from the UK. Most of the other information you find everywhere is right here. Padres following the Spanish conquistadors most likely sent the first seeds to Spain in the early 1500s. The fruit gained little attention in Spain, but soon traveled to Italy. Hey, Italy did a good job with those tomatoes. That's what everybody talks about Italy. You talk about the tomatoes.
I was in Italy in September. My husband and I went for our 30th anniversary. We were in Venice and we were on a little tour, and the tour guide thanked the Americans for the tomato. And I wanted to say, I'm Mrs. Tomato Head, but not that that would mean anything to him. But I wanted to tell him, like, I'm a little more than your average tomato lover in the United States. I'm like a tomato fanatic. But it was cool to be thanked for the tomatoes in the region where they're known for tomatoes.
Yes, definitely. And you notice Jay Dixon, we have one of the best this person mods all over some of the biggest channels in Jay Dixon too. So we have two of the most awesome mods right now in the chat with Jay and Jane Doe. Wow, this is cool. Because Jay, he already corrected me with my spelling. Well, not the spelling, my speech. And Jay, you're going to do a lot of that here. So it's all good. Okay, let me see where I was going. Italy, a country that embraced tomatoes with great passion and developed numerous recipes, which are still popular today. By the mid-16th century, tomatoes made their return to America by English colonists. They did not become an important part of the American diet, however, until after World War I. Today, tomatoes are grown in every single state. Mm-hmm. Now, it's funny because when I read that, it said in Alaska, tomatoes aren't grown. That's not true.
No.
So
there's members of my group from Alaska that I trade seeds with. They just need to grow different varieties, but they can grow them.
Exactly. Facts about tomato. Processed tomatoes used to make sauce soups and more have thicker skins. So if you're looking for those processed tomatoes, they have a little thicker skin on them. For best flavor, fresh tomatoes should be eaten at room temperature. Now, who wants a tomato that's in the fridge, right, guys? I mean, that's some of the, like, you eat it and it's like, what happened to the tomato? It's not a tomato, right? So when you store your tomatoes, don't put them in the fridge. 96% of all pressed tomato products eaten in the U.S. come from California. Now, I want to do some more research on that, but that's the research I got because I think that's been dwindling down. It's not 96. I don't think it's even 90 anymore. But I want to do some more research, but that's the research that I have right now.
That's what I found also in doing my research today. But yeah, maybe it's changed.
I think it's definitely changed. Everybody's grown tomatoes. So I can't see it just coming from Cali, especially when they had the drought out there. You know, they had the huge drought for it seemed like a long, long time.
Yeah.
Scientifically, tomatoes are considered a fruit. However, the Supreme Court declared them a vegetable because of the way in which people commonly eat them. There are more than 2,750 varieties of fresh market and processing tomatoes, and that's way above that too. The first tomatoes were the size of cherries. Imagine that, a little cherry tomato becoming like a goat bag tomato to a regular like 8-pound tomato. You know, that's pretty insane, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's pretty crazy that they started as size of cherries.
Yeah.
I didn't know that until today when I was doing my research too. I didn't realize that.
It's pretty cool stuff. We probably went over the same facts.
I think we did. Well, I've also got a stack of books here. These are all tomato books.
So. Oh, absolutely. I love that, Lauren. You know, when you fall in love with the tomato, you just keep on searching, researching, trying to find every single variety you can. Yeah. Something that you never heard of.
Yeah.
Absolutely love that. Tomato facts, interesting facts about tomatoes. 94.5% of tomato weight is water.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, reminds me when we had a tomato fight. That was just got to watch out for the people that got hit in the head. It was domesticated around 500 BC by Aztecs and used not only as food but also as powerful and dangerous hallucinogenic. Hallucinogenic. I said it. Yes. Tomatoes can keep longer if you store them with their stem down. So, how many people store their tomatoes with the stem down? Right? You ever see them get like a little moldy and those marks on them and stuff like that? Well, it's okay if they have the marks on one side, but you don't want them on the other side. They kind of just go faster. You don't want that. So make sure you keep them with their stem down. If you guys want to read, you could do that. Otherwise, I'll keep on reading, and because we got a while to go. Many European countries resisted to include tomato and other New World vegetables into their diets. They feared them because they were not mentioned in the Bible. Untrained use led to bad yields on farms and inedible parts because of sickness and death. Now imagine a tomato. People are thinking, well, we're not going to have a tomato. It's going to kill somebody. You know?
What they used to think.
Yeah.
I think at one point in time they were called death apples.
Oh, I never heard that one. Neat.
It's kind of crazy. I mean, just think of the Bible, though. It wasn't in the Bible, so we're not going to eat it.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty amazing to me. Americans contain more vitamins from tomatoes than any other vegetable. Average American eats around 24 pounds of tomatoes, but that's changed now. That's changed. It changed to 31 pounds. So with the less, imagine that. So from 24 pounds to 31 pounds. And
that's what we really need to think about. Like, how many products have tomato sauces or tomatoes in it? I mean, and that's in like everyday food, right? Like, I mean, even if you use ketchup, it may have a lot of sugar in it or something, but it still has tomatoes in it. Just think about how much tomatoes we actually really use, and don't even think about it. You know what I mean?
I have pizza. Probably as our family, we have pizza every single week. It's a New Jersey thing. We have the best pizza. It's just the way it is.
We do. There's a great book that I actually don't have here, but I'm listening to it, called The 10 Tomatoes That Changed the World by William Alexander. And he talks about the role of pizza in the tomato industry and how huge that has been for the tomato industry, pizza. And
just think of pasta, though. It's the easiest thing for a family. It's the cheapest thing you can make as a family that have, little pasta, 99 cents. You could probably make your own sauce or get a thing of sauce for a family for 99 cents. It's the cheapest thing you could buy.
Yeah.
During the 17th and 18th century, tomato fruits were often used in Italy as table decorations. Imagine that. Here's my table decoration. Here's some tomatoes.
I would love that decoration, honestly.
Yeah, I actually would do the same. My wife wouldn't like it as much. There's a fruit fly in here. What are we going to do?
They're just so beautiful. I mean, they're not just your regular round tomato anymore. I mean, there's those too, but they're just so... My cover photo on my Facebook profile is my counter full of this year's tomatoes, and it's like a work of art. They're just beautiful.
It definitely is. And all those colors.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is, the colors. And it's a shame you see stores starting to come with all the different colors of tomatoes, but it's still not out there. A lot of people are afraid to eat the tomato. A lot of people are afraid to eat the green tomatoes.
Yeah. And those are my favorite. I grow seedlings for people and give them away each year for them to grow their own plants. And I can't pay people to take the green when ripe varieties. And I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're missing out on. You really don't. They're so intensely flavored. If that's what you like, that's what I like. My favorite tomato, I won't give away too much, but my favorite tomato is a green one ripe.
See, the key, Lauren, is you got to sing the song or say, fried green tomatoes.
Well, that's the thing. they think of them as unripe tomatoes, like you use for fried green tomatoes, not just, not the. They're just, and then they don't know. They think you can't tell when they're ripe, but I think you can absolutely tell by a little squeeze, and they usually turn a little bit, yellowish color. But yeah, there's some beautiful varieties out there.
So during that time in the 17th, 18th century, Italian botanists created countless types of tomatoes by selective breeding. So that's when all the breeding started, in the 17th and 18th century. Modern day production of tomato in the United States came from, excuse me, I want to cough in a second. I'm still coming off a cold. My wife is actually sick. She came home today.
Oh, no. That stinks.
So botanist Alexander Livingston, who created several types of tomatoes that were suitable for mass industrial production and processing. So, coming with that's interesting because New Jersey is known for growing great tomatoes because it's the taste. It's all about the taste. Right. So with Alexander Livingston, when he started creating those tomatoes for industrial production and processing, it's sometimes, it had to do, there was a lot of work put in there. It wasn't just, okay, here's a tomato, let's put it through this. No, you can't really do that when it's for mass production. 93% of the American gardening households grow tomatoes. So that's pretty amazing. So those who have a garden, so it's not 93 households, it's 93% that garden. 93% grow tomatoes. It's the most popular vegetable in the U.S. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, wow, 93%? So when I first read that stat, I'm like, oh, there's 93% of people grow gardens?
Yeah, I know. That me too when I first read it. Not surprised, though. I mean, everybody, who doesn't love, well, there are people that don't love tomatoes, but, growing that, you don't, I still like you, though.
I like everything a tomato produces. I just don't like eating them.
I did hear you say that with Luke the other night. That's right. I forgot.
See, we're a shock channel. It's a shocking moment.
Do you like ketchup and tomato sauce?
Oh, yeah. And I make my own sauces, and I grow tomatoes. I just don't like to eat them right off the vine or anything. So
we'll find you some good varieties.
Yeah, I need some. But I do taste them to see, you know, but it's not my favorite.
No.
Yeah.
So welcome in. We have some new people just came on in the last. There's Jen Joyce here. That's
Jen Joyce here from the airport.
Jen. Kimberly Gallia came on in. Wanda Moses. Don't you know? Don't you know? I love that name.
Don't you know?
Don't you know? Ellen's Garden Grows. Welcome in. Riverdale Gardens. Shift Kicker is here. Thank you guys for all coming. So let me see where I'm at. So the tomato tree managed to grow 32,000 tomatoes that weigh 522 kilograms. So where did that come from? It must come from Florida. Was that the biggest tree? I think that the big tomato tree in Disney World. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That tree is absolutely crazy.
So that's real. I see pictures of it and it always looks like Photoshop to me. That tomato tree is real.
It's real.
Yeah, wow.
That's
if anybody can do it, it's Disney.
Yeah, it's magical there, that's for sure.
That is right.
So tomatoes rapidly lose their vitamin C if sunlight can't reach them while they're stored. So you're storing your tomato and you don't have any sunlight, you're losing your vitamin C. Sometimes tomatoes are picked green and dosed with ethylene gas on their way to the supermarket. That way, when they arrive, they are ripe. And I think that is so wrong. Just put them with an apple. Store them with apples.
Yeah.
Then you can figure it out. That way, your tomatoes will ripen a little faster. So that's a little key. Tomato is called tomate in French and Spanish, tomate in Dutch, and pomodoro in Italian. Did I get that right, guys?
You did.
Yes. Did. Boom.
In my Facebook group, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, we have members from all over the world. So I'm quickly learning how what they call tomatoes in Russian, Ukrainian, Germany. It's really cool. It's really interesting to find out what they grow and what they call tomatoes.
So green tomatoes will ripe if you store them together with apples. Oh, just exactly like I just said. How about that? Release ethylene gas will provide perfect conditions to ripen faster. If you don't have apples, you can loosely wrap them in newspapers and leave them for a week or two. Instantly introduced into regular diet of soldiers. Oh, I thought that was the same sentence. My mistake. Sorry about that. So, yeah, and for soldiers and sailors, see, that's another word I can't say. Sailors. There we go. It's been put right into their diet. Soil requirements for tomatoes. You want it sunny, guys. You want it sunny. Cell well drained loam fertility. You want a medium rich soil. Temperatures, you want them 70, 80 degrees. That's when they're more abundant, when you start getting more tomatoes on the plants. Moisture, you want it moist, but you don't want it waterlogged. Now, selecting the right variety. So when you're planting your garden, what do you want out of your garden? What do you want out of your tomatoes you're growing? So that's the key. That's what we're going to talk about right now. So 100 tomato varieties exist to suit every climate, garden site, and taste. There are tomatoes that ripen in 55 days and varieties that require 3 months of hot weather to produce their crop. Some vines grow long and some short. Fruit range in size from the smallest marbles and as large as grapefruits. And everybody wants those big grapefruit tomatoes, right? I can't wait to grow my goat bag tomato this year. And what's the other tomato was the Domingo tomato. That's what one of our guests had. Kevin, oh my God, I just went blank on the name. He grew, we had him on our show.
Yeah, Korky?
Yeah, Kevin Forney. And he grew, it was an 8-pound tomato, I believe it was.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like pretty close to 10 pounds, but yeah.
Wow.
And he just actually did a video on that on his site. And it was the Domingo tomato, which is absolutely crazy.
And sent seeds for that because everybody in my group knows that my husband's looking. We've never grown a 2-pound tomato. We've gotten really close, but with all the tomatoes I grow, you would think, but no. So a lot of people have sent us Domingo. We tried Big Zac this year, which is from New Jersey, actually. Didn't even come close.
I love the Domingo tomato. The goat bag tomato, I love growing for paste. Very little seeds and huge.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe how big. You won't get too many tomatoes. The larger the tomato, you're going to have less yields. The smaller the tomato, the smaller tomato, you'll get more yields, just like you do with cherry. So, and that's, you know what? All these tomatoes are so many colors and with so many varieties available. How do you pick the ones that are right for you in your garden? Select varieties that have been bred to grow and produce well in your region and can adapt to your weather conditions. That's what all these scientists and all the colleges do and all the ag centers. Everybody's. I kind of want to grow everything from every single part of the world and say, no, you're wrong. Because, some of you might have to put it in a greenhouse. Someone might not like water coming on them. So you got to put them in a green, every little thing changes. You got to find out what works for you. If the variety is the variety determinate or indeterminate in growth habit. So determine it. Do you want them all set at one time or do you want a long growing season, which is intermediate? Which is pretty cool. That's why I usually grow intermediate. But if you are in a hot region, which is all set one time, you may want to grow to determinate because they now grow in height. So you won't
grew determinate and indeterminate last year. My determinate worked out perfect for the farmers markets.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they were done, then I could rip them out if I wanted to, or I could start more or whatever. But they worked out perfect. So.
And you could stagger them too, couldn't you? Mm-hmm. Plant them at different times that way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it is a lot healthier plant too. It is really awesome to look at a determinate plant. And if you don't plant a sticker tomato, please grow a determinate. Don't grow indeterminate because they just sprout out their thicker stems on determinate tomatoes. So that's important to know. Do you want to grow in a cage? Do you want to grow? What are you going to put around your tomato to keep them stalked up? How often are you going to do that? Do you have the time to go out there all the time and stalk? Are they going to? Because you don't want your tomatoes. Once the tomato falls and they're growing up in height, it's like impossible. It's like all messy. All tomatoes are wrapped up.
Yeah.
You guys have that problem?
Yeah, I've had whole cattle panel fences just collapse under the weight. So yeah, but my tomatoes still survived. They were still
They're
hanging
very resilient.
but yeah, we've had so many on one fence line that it just came
Wow.
tumbling down. So
It's the worst feeling though, because it just looks like a complete mess.
Yeah.
Here, it's all perfect, all straight up, easy to pick. Then it's like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
it takes, a lot of people don't know this, but it takes a lot of work. We prune them. There's different methods, but we prune them from the bottom up till it hits the cattle panel fence.
Mhm.
And then it just, from there, we just let it go. And then we prune off all suckers. So we do a lot of pruning. And, so it has adequate airflow underneath. Like here, it's really weird in Ohio. Like we get a ton of rain and we get really hot and muggy. So it's just like humid and just, in the summertime. So they need a lot of airflow underneath.
Yeah, and that pruning, you're right, it's a lot of work, a lot of work.
You end up smelling like a tomato when you're done.
I like that though. You may not, but I do.
I
They sell
absolutely love the
candles
smell.
with a tomato smell, like Trader Joe's has a tomato leaf scented candle.
Oh, do they really?
Yeah, yeah,
I absolutely love the smell of tomatoes.
yeah.
I can't get enough of it until they fall down in the ground and the tomatoes, like some of them fall and you get that smell. Like, oh, this is disgusting. That's the worst smell for me.
Which smell, Joe?
When the tomatoes are all dying and like you left them on the ground and you're like, oh, they're rotting and oof. When my son was going through cancer, we didn't go back there for a couple of weeks because we were at the hospital and it was like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm like, what happened to the basil smell that was out here? Because I like planting my basil plants in between each tomato.
Yeah.
I cut down. I haven't had hornworms in a long time, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. We got a long way to go here. It's important to know how you will use your tomatoes. Are you looking for large for slicing, medium sized fruits to slice, or chopping salads and sauces? Tiny sweet ones for lunch boxes. Tomatoes for canning or juicing or drying. Many gardeners continue growing old-fashioned heirloom varieties and my gardener has. And that's all he has is heirloom tomatoes, which is pretty cool. All 145 of them. 144. Growers also buy tomatoes because of their resistance to disease, stresses, especially for growers who have experienced these problems in the past. Many variety names are followed by one or more letters indicating resistance to, and I am not going to be able to say that because I always had that problem, but verticillium, fusarium, which is the F, for example, in some varieties are less likely to experience problems such as cracking and yellow shoulders. Now, here we go. So you're buying your seeds or you're buying them at a place. What are you going to do? So many decisions. Grow from seed. That's all I can say. Always grow from seed. And there's going to be reasons why, especially bugs when you buy them at the shops. There's a lot more insects than you think in those plants. So purchasing tomato seedlings. Because of their long growing season and temperature requirements, tomatoes must be started indoors 6 to 8 weeks before being moved permanently into the garden. When purchasing tomato seedlings, select stocky plants with thick, straight stems and bright green leaves. The ideal transplant is less than 6 inches tall, as broad as it is high. Do not choose tall, lanky, or large, well-established plants with flowers or fruits already visible. So there's a lot of little things in there, guys. So you're going to the store, you're buying tomato plants, right? And you know what? When you do have a lanky plant, you want to plant them deeper. You plant them as deep as far as you can, but you don't want that. You're not going to have as many tomatoes on a plant. So when you're at that store, again, 6 inches. Now, if you see those flowers, please don't pick that. Don't pick that one. Go to another center. They're already, and they're short and with flowers even worse.
Or some of them have tomatoes on them already. You go to Home Depot and you see them, and it's so tempting, right? If you don't, if you're beginning tomato gardener. It's so tempting, like, hey, this one's got tomatoes already because it's got a head start, but you really don't want that.
Oh, it's the happiest feeling when you see the plant and you're like, okay, it's not going to grow in the ground for a long time. You're growing a 3-foot tomato plant, supposed to be 6-7 foot. You're getting like 4 tomatoes on a whole plant a whole year.
Yeah.
But if you do see your tomato flower inside, pluck those off. Get those off the plant. You see them outside for 2 weeks, pluck them off. You want the tomato to grow, not flower. So it's important that you have pepper plants, same thing. Pluck them off. Even if you see those pepper plants starting to get bigger, hey, look at the time you plant them. You don't want those. You want a powerful plant. You want a great base to build on for the whole entire season, not in the beginning. Even though it feels so good to see it, it's like, okay, I'm going to get my peppers in a couple of weeks. Whoop, whoop. It's not going to happen. You are not growing healthy. You're not going to grow a healthy plant. And welcome in, Yankee Sister Homestead. Welcome in. Let me see if Vendrell DeLand is here. Welcome in. And thank you, guys. We have 44 people in the chat that's here. Thank you guys all for coming. Okay. So, slicing or globe, also known as round tomatoes, are used in processing or fresh consumption. Beef steaks are large tomatoes, often used for sandwiches. So when you're picking these plants out, you got to know what you're buying, guys. You guys got to know the uses.
That's a lot of things people I don't think know about. And when I found out, it was kind of like confusing at first. But people thought that beefsteak was a particular specific tomato. Well, beefsteak is a category in tomatoes. You can get all different kinds of tomatoes that are considered to be a beefsteak, which are just considered to be a big, meaty tomato.
There actually is a variety called beefsteak.
Yes.
But you're right. It's generally a category, not.
I've grown just regular beefsteak tomato, and it was pretty big, but I think there's some other ones out there that can match it.
Yeah, a friend of mine wants me to start them for her every year. So I have the seeds. Baker Creek has them. So I start them for her. I didn't know there even was a beefsteak variety until she asked me to start selling them. But yeah, it's a category.
Now, one thing about with M.I. Gardner and Baker's Creek, my disease resistance, even though it's the same tomato seed, my disease resistance is so much better with M.I. Gardner seeds. I've always been. I got thousands of packets from Baker's Creek.
Yeah.
Literally thousands over the period of time. And the colors and everything there is awesome. But for some reason, they just a little more disease. So you got to pay so much more attention to them.
Interesting.
So beefsteaks are used for sandwiches. Plum tomatoes are bred for higher solids for use like in tomato sauce or a paste. Cherry tomatoes are the small little round ones, which are used in your salads and stuff, or just eating in a garden for snacking. I mean, geez, how many people go to see cherry tomato in a garden? How do you not pick it if it's right there and ready?
And my gardener has the champagne mini tomato or the miniature. I want to get that this year, and I want to make like a tomato jam or something like that, something to put on sandwiches with it, because I think it would be like super sweet.
It is very good.
Yeah. So I want to see if I can get a recipe or come up with my own or something like that. But I want to grow as many as I can and then can them and see how sweet I can get it.
Well, you keep trying. I've got to give it to you. You keep trying to like tomatoes.
Oh, you know what? I got to tell you guys something. My wife's allergic to tomatoes and bees.
I'm allergic to bees too.
Oh, that stinks. But can you have honey at least? You can't have honey either.
Me? Yeah. Oh, no, I can have honey. Yeah.
A lot of people allergic to bees can't have honey either, and it's like, oh man, you're missing out.
Oh yeah, that would stink. So, Joe, your wife, does she have like an actual reaction to a tomato?
Instantly. Oh. We've been in the hospital several times with bee bites. But none of them have been at my house.
Oh,
No, not the bee one, the tomatoes. You said she's allergic to tomatoes.
Allergic to tomatoes and bees.
And bees, right. So,
And so
like,
if she
she
has
has
a
a bite
tomato,
of any tomato product?
yeah, she really has to douse it with mayo and things like
Wow.
that, and really douse it. She can't have ketchup.
Kinda makes me
When
wanna
she
try
was
it.
pregnant, you got to see her. She had some candies. Well, she didn't realize they had bee wax in it. So when she gave birth to Joey, her lips were huge.
Oh,
It looked like she had
no.
surgery on her lips.
Oh, shoot, the poor thing, as if she wasn't, like, in rough enough shape as it was after
it's
that.
weird what you become allergic to. I'm allergic to beans, the vine growing ones,
Really?
not the bush, the vine. Yeah,
Hmm.
this past year, we had so many of them, and every time I'd go out to the garden, I would come back and my feet would be like if it touched my feet because if I was in flip flops or if it like touched my arm, like I would itch like crazy.
Wow.
It would drive me crazy, and I have to wear long sleeves. Now I can actually eat the bean, but I'm allergic to the leaves.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, super weird.
Huh, and only the vining, not the bush.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
grew both this year. I don't know what we were thinking because we had so many beans, it was ridiculous. But, the bush variety, I didn't have an allergic reaction to. It was only the vining ones. It was really weird.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a first for me.
So with grape tomatoes, now I love Juliette's with grape tomatoes. So a more recent variety or a smaller variation of the plum tomato and primarily used in salads. Juliette is my best tasting grape tomato. Now, guys, this is a new added feature that you don't see in many books or anywhere, but the dwarf and micro tomatoes, and we're going to talk about them a little later. So Mrs. Tomato Head's going to talk all about them. And I can't wait for us to talk about micro and dwarf tomatoes. Plants grown in cell packs or individual containers are better choices than those grown in flats, as their roots will suffer less transplant shock. Seedlings should be free of insects and visible signs of disease. So when you're at the store, right, you're at Home Depot or anywhere like that, I'm telling you, most of those vegetables that you're going to buy have some kind of disease on them. You better look at the bottom of those plants. That's so important because more or less a lot of those places are getting those plants from like Virginia and shipping them all the way to New Jersey. It's kind of crazy that they're not actually grown in New Jersey or grown in any other state. They're transported, guys. So make sure if you're going to buy those, which I have no problem for you to do, just make sure you look, and because you're going to be wasting money. Don't waste your money if you don't have to. And why bring disease and bugs in your garden when you never had them there before? Well, you had them, but just different ones.
They were your bugs.
Careful in general, where you're getting your plants from. You just have to, like, if you're getting them from a greenhouse, make sure you trust that greenhouse and that, and stuff like that. I've picked up tomato plants from greenhouses that have had hornworms and weird stuff on them. And when you grow them yourself, when you start them yourself, obviously you're not going to have those issues. So I just have to be careful.
So germinating the seeds. So you guys got to start counting, guys. You're going to germinate those seeds. When are you going to start? When do you like? I usually plant in two different segments because if I get a frost in New Jersey, it could be 90 degrees in April and people are already planting. And you see that a lot.
It happened last year. I know the date, May 18th, we had a frost in New Jersey, and I had planted out, which was not everything, but I thought I lost some plants, but they actually came back. They're very resilient. But yeah, May 18th, we had like 90 degrees the day before, and then boom, frost.
I'm sorry, I don't know. What state are you from?
Oh, I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, you're okay. You live in New Jersey too.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So
she lives on the northern part, so our weather's totally different.
I'm 6B.
Oh, okay. I'm in 6 too. Cool.
Are you really? Oh, in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm in Ohio, so
I'm like on the New Jersey Pennsylvania border.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So even though she lives in New Jersey, we're just totally different.
Yeah, you're close by the ocean, aren't you, Joe?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So the wind and stuff would just be different. Just in general.
Are you 6A, Joe?
You know what? I don't even pay attention too much to it.
Yeah, I
I,
don't.
I look at when's Mother's Day.
Yeah,
Look
right.
at the forecast and look at Mother's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We
so
usually have everything out by Mother's Day too. I mean, but sometimes, I mean, this year it was crazy. We had like 2 frosts in between that. Like
Yeah.
in between, I was like, what? And then one time I got a frost. It was like 9 o'clock at night. They're like letting me know. And I was like, you know what? At this point, I'm like, if they all die, they all die. I'm not going out there at 9 o'clock at night to cover my plants. I was done because we had covered them like 3 times already. And I was done. I was so mad.
So during COVID, when my son was going through cancer and everything, I wanted to sell some tomatoes and stuff, but I was late. I had some I was going to grow, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, I could really sell this stuff and make a couple extra dollars. And I'm like, I was started a little late. Well, that's when we had a freeze. So everybody bought all their tomato plants, all the nurseries, everything else was getting pretty much sold out around here. And here comes Joe. Put them out in my front yard. Had my greenhouse and everything set. Everything was perfect. I made like $4,000 just selling plants in my front yard.
Fantastic.
That's awesome.
It was great. I loved it. I was like, people would be emailing me, messaging me, "Are you the tomato guy?" And cucumbers are so fast to start. It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that so much. And so let me see, germinate the seeds in early March, 7 to 8 weeks before the last frost. Place moistened seedlings mixed in a small pot, firm with soil. Drop in 1 seed, well, 1 or 2 seeds. Make sure they don't grow as 2 seeds per packet. If you like, I alternate 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and just make sure they're germinating fine. The good one, the healthy one, you make sure you leave it there and just pinch off the other, or take out the other one and grow it in another pot.
That's my problem. I can't kill the seedling. I can't kill the extra. I have a real big problem, and that's why I end up with 1 million that I give away to people, and I love giving away, but I know the smart thing to do. I say I'm going to do it every year. I'm going to snip it this year, but there's something in me, this innate thing. I just can't do it.
I can't kill you. I can't kill you. No way.
We had a backup plan this year. I'm so glad that we saved our suckers because we had issues this year with just catastrophes. Things happen there, and so when and if something did happen, we had suckers available and we just plopped them in. And
I do that too. Yeah, it's great for succession planting too. I think like I'll take suckers off of some of the original ones, and then I'll get like a second, wind out of a plant that I really like. It's great.
And Jay, you're right. I was the seeding fairy. Look at me, tomatoes. And what's great about that is I had so many varieties of tomatoes. I have I don't know. I have probably over 1,000 varieties of tomatoes seeds here somewhere. At least I know it was over 900 at one point. So I would say closer to 1,000 now. I'm pretty insane. Even Luke called me sick last week. You're a sick man. Thank you, everyone in the chat. There's 51 people here. I appreciate you guys. Let's go to hardening off. Hold on 1 second. Let's talk about a heat mat. So usually I always put my tomatoes on a heat mat until when they start growing a little bit, then I take it right off. You can't keep them on a heat mat. You don't want that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want extra stress on a plant. You want them to feel comfortable. Now, peppers is a different story. You want that heat in a pepper plant for a little longer than a tomato. Tomatoes are usually really easy to germinate. 6 to 10 days. A lot of times I have tomato seeds germinate in 3 days. So how about you guys?
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Yeah, same thing. And with micro dwarfs, which I've been starting this winter, there's some that will germinate in 3-4 days, and some that actually take a couple of weeks, which is unusual. But some of them do on the micros.
Yeah, isn't that it's same thing with the hottest peppers? Sometimes it just takes a long time to do.
Peppers are very long to germinate sometimes, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know why that is, but it is. Peppers and sometimes Well, sometimes my tomatoes are too. It just depends on how anxious I am to get them started.
Right.
And sometimes if they hang around too long, that's another problem I have. I get anxious and they hang around too long and then they start lacking nutrition.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So I have to be really careful.
I have vowed that I am not starting all of my tomato seeds on the same day or same weekend this year. And
Oh, that's a really good idea.
I'm going to succession start them because I just feel there's no reason to. Last year they just got too big. Also plan I start them earlier than I should. I start them like very early March, and I really could wait another week even to. So I'm going to try that this year.
Yeah. That's a really good idea. I want to do that because I want to do a farmer's market again. I did last year. So that's a really good idea. Maybe I'll
Was it your first year last year?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I want to do that again this year, but I'll succession so that way I have tomatoes for every weekend. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
So hardening off. Hardening off. A lot of people have problems hardening off their plants or want to do it because of conditions. It's always conditions outside. Got to look at that calendar and the future ahead. So whether your plants are purchased or homegrown, harden off tomato seedlings before transplanting it into your garden. About 10 days before transplanting, set plants outdoors for a few hours each day to assimilate them gradually to outdoor conditions. Start by setting plants in filtered light in a setting protected from strong breezes. Now that is key right there, strong breezes, because in the spring it gets windy out. So if you don't have a fan inside, you're going to have issues. You want that fan. You want everything starting to get stronger.
You want that constant airflow.
So when you're going outdoors, you want them exposed to a little wind, But if they're like 20 miles an hour, they're just going to totally fall over. And that stinks. All this wasted effort you just did, all the energy you put into it from the inside of the house, the electricity to your hours spent. You don't want to have wasted tomato plants. The way I look at it is the way you love somebody is the way you should love a tomato plant. So, take care of it. You got to take care of it. You're waking up with a tomato plant and you're putting it to bed every single day. So, each day, prolong the period the tomato seedlings spend outdoors, exposing them gradually to direct sunlight and wind. Remember that seedlings lose water much more rapidly outdoors than inside and will need more frequent watering during the hardening off process. So a lot of people just think they can water the same all year round, and that's not true of tomatoes. It's the whole tomato cycle. You have to water your plants differently. And a lot of people never give any thought to that.
I am a big proponent, like I'll water in the seedling stage and at first planting, but we don't water often. Only if there's a big drought or something like that, we kind of let our plants talk to us. And if the plants look like they need water, we'll water. But I feel like a lot of diseases are caused by people overwatering their plants.
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we do here is the exact same thing. And I don't overwater. If my plants are looking bad, okay, then I'll soak them.
Right.
If they aren't, then sometimes they can go almost 3 or 4 days without anything. And so if you overwater, then you're going to get some blown out tomatoes that are cracked and not looking so hot or even tasteless because you overwatered them because they explode really easily. Well, I know heirlooms do, but they just they blow up and get cracked, and they already are kind of looking kind of ugly to begin with. But.
So Jay Dixon said, I used to be an assistant manager at an organic farm. We grew stock for four farmers markets. Very challenging.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Now, guys, I can't really see the chat. That's on my phone. What I see is what I'm reading. So I'm not trying to ignore you, just to let you know. But welcome in Cynthia Stone. So we got some new people in the chat.
Thank you
guys.
I watched a documentary. I think it was a documentary or it was a YouTube channel. I cannot remember. But it was, I think they were affiliated with Baker Creek. I'm not sure. It was about people who were growing tomatoes specifically, and I think they grew them in the desert or something like that, but they didn't water them at all.
Yeah.
They said that it affects the flavor. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
we rarely water. I will water what's in the grow bags because we do put a lot in grow bags that we don't fit in ground or in the raised beds, but we really just don't. If it rains, it rains. But like I said in the beginning, we definitely do. But once it gets to a certain point, unless the plant's droopy, we don't. And there's a whole movement. I don't know a lot about it, but dry farming is a big thing. There's people that swear by it, and they never water too. So
yeah, I wonder if the idea, and somebody just said this, what does it mean to have a lot of green maters at the end of the season? Well, I wonder if because you're not maybe you're not watering as much or not taking, because it's the end of the season, maybe you're stressing out your plants and they're producing more, and then a cold spell hits and then it slows them down. I don't really know, but I know it's sometimes stress of just not watering can produce more tomatoes.
Well, see, it all depends, guys, because every single or the whole season you water differently.
Yeah,
right.
It really every single thing changes totally.
This could be just like anywhere. Like people in Washington could probably totally have problems growing tomatoes because it rains so much.
Right.
So it could just be a regional thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like in Texas this year, they were pounded by like 110-degree heat every day and no rain. Obviously, they're going to need to water probably every day. But yeah, it depends on your region, the season, and all of that. Whatever works for you. But green tomatoes could just be that it's the end of the season. The days are getting shorter. It's an indeterminate plant. They continue to produce until first frost. So not unusual to have lots of green tomatoes. And then you could just bring them inside. And like Joe, I think it already said in your guide, the newspaper trick, and that they'll ripen in the newspaper.
Yep. Or like you can do, okay. So if you really, really like green tomatoes, there's so many recipes out there. Like fried green tomatoes, and a lot of people that don't even like tomatoes love green tomatoes for some reason, and that's not me though. I don't like but you can make, there's like a chow chow they call which is a totally green jams and all different kinds of stuff. So there's so many cool stuff that you can do with the green, so don't think you're wasting tomatoes that way. So
welcome in, Uncle Al. Welcome in, Uncle Al.
hello, Uncle Al.
So now this is another thing. When it gets chilly sometimes in the spring, right? So bring plants indoors at night and on days when temperatures fall below 55. This is 55. I could say 50 degrees. Anything under 50 degrees when growing tomatoes could stunt your season. So it matters how many days you have them under that temperature. So you get away with 2 more weeks. If it gets 40 degrees, you can stunt your tomato plant at least maybe 2 or more weeks of growing. So be very careful. Look for those 2 weeks, the 2-week outlook for your weather. It's so important. If it gets 70 degrees this whole week, then all of a sudden you see the temperature in 2 weeks. Oh, it's going to be 40. Think about what you're doing. So that's very important, guys, because you don't want to delay in growth of your plant. And also may cause a condition called calf basin on your early fruits. Now, we're going to come back to this, guys, but I want to show you guys a video from Juliana, which is Juby. So let me change it a little bit. And Dr. Paula got her video in. Yeah. So let's go check out Juliana's video. It's Juby time.
Now, tomato edition. Did you know that the most tomatoes harvested from a single plant weighed 522 kilograms? The tomato is an Epcot science project at Walt Disney World, Florida. Did you know refrigeration deteriorates the flavor of tomatoes?
One of the lesser conventional uses is the perfect substitute for human blood in movie parts. Did you know?
94% of the tomato is nothing but water. There are thought to be more than 3,000 varieties of heirloom or heritage globally and 15,000 varieties total. Tomatoes are technically a fruit, sometimes a vegetable. Confusion arose in the 1890s when the Supreme Court named it a vegetable for taxation purposes. A fruit is defined as the edible part containing the seeds, and the vegetable is the stem, the leaf, or the root. Tomatoes have been to space. Canada has grown tomatoes all over from Tomatosphere 1, 2, 3, and 4 experiments. They came from a desire to understand outer space seed growth and development. When tomatoes were first introduced in the 16th century, they were small, golden, and cherry size. They were called golden apple. Many called them golden apfel in Germany. The French were convinced tomatoes were aphrodisiacs and named love apples. That same plant in Disney had over 32,000 tomatoes, for the most tomatoes harvested in 1 year on any plant ever. Did you know that the biggest tomato ever picked was 3.5 kilos? It was grown in Oklahoma in 1986. Joe, think of your goat bag tomato. That's a 7-pound, 12-ounce tomato. Grow big.
Ooh,
That was good, Jujubee.
nice. Very nice.
Jujubee.
I know Jujubee. I recognize you.
Juliana. I love her text. You know what? Those pictures. That's from her garden, by the way.
Nice.
That was very nice.
I had tomato envy.
I really missed my tomatoes right now. I gotta grow those dwarfs right now. Those micros. Micros are so important.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's good. And you know what? I'm going to show you Paula's. Just give me 1 second because I want to get those out of the way in case we get on a roll. Dr. Paula Ruffin, and she's going to be on here on Tuesday this week.
With me! It's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Joey has a band concert, a Christmas concert, and it's very important for me. I could be there. So
you're running the show, Korky.
yes.
It's going to be fun. I love Dr. Paula. She's freaking awesome. It's going to be a great show. So hang out with us on Tuesday at 7.
Whoop. Just hold on, guys. Setting this up.
Thanks, Sierra.
So, yeah, it's going to be a very exciting show on Tuesday. So make sure you guys share that out. And a lot of important issues going to be raised. So here is... Sorry, little technical issues. You're always going to have them on the show.
Mine too, trust me.
Okay, here's Dr. Paula Ruffin.
One of nature's absolute superfoods. But before we get into the benefits of eating tomatoes, let's answer the question, are tomatoes a fruit or vegetable? Tomatoes are actually a fruit because they come from the flower of the plant and they have seeds. So now that we have that out of the way, let's talk about the amazing nutritional benefits that tomatoes have to offer. The first thing is tomatoes are amazing at boosting brain health because they contain a compound called folate. Folate actually helps promote serotonin production, which is your happy hormone. Folate is also a critical nutrient for pregnant women to be making sure they get enough of because it helps with the brain and the nervous system development in utero. Tomatoes are actually very high in vitamin K and calcium, which means they are great for strong bones. So if you're looking for a food to add into your diet that will help you with your bone health, tomatoes are going to be the one. Tomatoes are very rich in fiber, and anytime we can get more fiber into our diet, the better it's going to be for our gut microbiome. So it'll help keep you regular, and it will also help the beneficial bugs that are supposed to live in your gut, as well as get rid of maybe some of those nasty bugs that could be causing some digestive issues. Another thing that tomatoes boast is a high level of vitamin A and lutein. These nutrients are really good for eye health. Macular degeneration is one of the more common eye issues that are happening today. And most of that is because of the fact that we are deficient in these key nutrients. So if you have any kind of eye issues, or if you're just looking to improve your eye health, I would definitely recommend the tomatoes and get the lutein and the vitamin A on deck. But where tomatoes really shine is they are incredibly high in lycopene. Lycopene comes from a family called carotenoids. And carotenoids are actually pigments that give fruits and vegetables their color. But they're incredibly high in antioxidants. And there are so many great benefits of having more lycopene in your diet. The first thing is it's anti-aging. It actually helps your skin. So if you're looking to reduce those wrinkles and improve your skin elasticity, then this would be a great way to bring in more lycopene, is with those tomatoes. And because lycopene has been championed as an anti-inflammatory because of the high level of antioxidant properties that it has, it can actually help with cardiovascular health. So anytime there's inflammation in the body where we want to bring the inflammation down, it's really best to try to do it with as healthy of foods as possible. And tomatoes are going to be one of them because of the high antioxidants and the lycopene in them. Lycopene has actually been shown in some studies to be helpful in fighting some cancers. And while we might need more studies to actually prove this for certain, it wouldn't hurt to get more lycopene and more antioxidants into your body to help bring that inflammation down to improve your body's health. So all these incredible nutrients that live inside of a tomato, think of them like a little armor that you're putting around your cells, and it protects you from all of the harmful things that this life is giving us, between our environmental issues, the toxic chemicals in our water, the toxic chemicals in other foods. This can actually be a really nutrient-dense food for you to add in to start to improve your body's ability to bring the inflammation down and to get your nutrient sufficiency up. Now, keep in mind also that because many of these nutrients that are in the tomato, they're actually fat soluble. So that means if you eat a little bit of healthy fat with your tomato, you're actually going to get better absorption of these key nutrients. Now, there's lycopene supplements on the market, which is fine to take, but studies also show us that the best way to absorb the lycopene is through the actual fruit itself. So I'd encourage you, get the fresh tomato, and if you have to, then you could go to the supplements. So what do? You slice up that fresh tomato, you drizzle some really high quality olive oil over top, you put some fresh basil on there, and maybe sprinkle it with some coarse sea salt. And you are off to the races. You've got an incredible appetizer, or even making it into a meal. Go grab yourself some tomatoes and start to boost your brain, your body, your health, and get a little anti-aging in the process. So let me know what you think. How do you like your tomatoes? And don't say ketchup, because that doesn't count. So leave me a comment. I always appreciate you being here, and I will see you on the next one.
Awesome.
I love her.
Great. Yeah, that was awesome.
I'm going to start putting tomatoes on my skin. You might see me this the tomatoes smeared on my skin.
So Dr. Paula has around 940 subs, I think. We're really trying to get her to 1,000 by the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed to her, please go ahead. It's Dr. Paula Ruffin. Jane I put her link out there, Dr. Paula Ruffin. I appreciate that. And also put Lauren's channel there too, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. So all you guys could subscribe.
And the group, if you don't mind, tomato.
Yes, I'm going to show that too. I'm going to show everything. We'll get down to it in a little while. And Jane, if you want to put the link for our Facebook group, go for it.
Thanks.
But I have all those links I could show. You know what? Let me do that right now. So this is. Let's see. So this is the.
That was an awesome video. Oh yeah, thank you.
So this is Tomatoes Lovers Collective and Swap. So there's no drama here, guys, and that's the way we want to keep it.
Yes.
Just like on my channel, just like on Laura's channel. We're not here for drama. We're here to have fun,
right,
and everybody learn and to communicate with each other. It's so much fun when everybody's together. But there's
very
so much
generous. Even if you're looking to get started, even if you don't own a single tomato seed, you can come in and people will help you and guide you for your region, and they trip over themselves trying to give you tomato seeds. It's a fun place. Tomato curious or expert, we welcome you all.
So go ahead and join this group if you want to learn about tomatoes. A lot of seeds going away, guys. A lot of seed talk. When you talk about tomatoes, it's all about seeds anyway. And a seed you got to swap. So, I never even looked at the swap. I always seen Tomatoes Lovers, and that's all I seen. Mom, I seen Tomato Lovers. I'm in. So go ahead and go on Facebook and try to join a group.
Thanks,
which
Joe.
is pretty awesome. And if you go on YouTube, which is Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head.
I just joined.
Thanks.
Right over here, Mr. and Mrs. Tomato Head. So look, guys, she only has 356 subs.
Gee, Joe, you make it you make it sound so bad. No, so
It's
I'm
terrible,
just
really.
I know it's terrible.
With what you show everybody, that number stinks. And it does, because the information you show and the community you have, you should be a couple thousand at least.
Thank you. Maybe we'll get there. I appreciate the
and you will get there because you have good material. When you have good material, it just takes one video pop out and everything explodes.
I review a lot of micro dwarfs. I just put one up yesterday, and then my Tomato Talk Live the first Friday of every month with Jen Joy streams there as well. So yeah, we'd love to have you.
I love your thumbnails.
Thanks.
Yeah, it is really pretty cool. And check out our live, guys. This is what you talk with Jen. So if you go, a lot of people, when you go to the pages, they never go to the live section.
Funny you say that. I was just talking to Jen about that the other day when she couldn't find one of ours. The live section has a lot of good stuff. That's how I found the link for this show tonight to give to the group, was on your live.
Jane Doe just put that link out there for the Facebook group.
Oh, thank you, Jane Doe.
I don't know, Jane Doe, if you can find the link to her YouTube and be ever so kind to share that as well so people can subscribe.
Yeah, thanks, because my numbers are pathetic.
Subscribe, ring the bell, please, and watch some of our stuff. Please stick as a subscriber.
And if you guys are just going on YouTube, the link's right here under her description for Facebook. So either way, it's very easy to find. And I think this is a channel that you're going to be on for a long, long, long time. This is not one of those one-hit wonders or a couple hits. You're going to be here for a while because it's a great community.
Thanks, Jay.
It's a friendly community, a loving community, and they make everybody look, it's like family, and which is really cool.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
So I wanted to make sure that's out there.
And
we'll show it again a little later. And Jane and Jane and JJ. We got JJ going on here as the mods. They are great.
Wow, you guys are awesome.
Moderators, seriously, we don't have that many of them, but the ones that are here are really kicking butt. So we really appreciate everything that you're doing for the channel and sharing those links, because without you, no one would get any information. We would be like, yeah, it wouldn't be out there as fast. So thank you so much.
And we got Camp Patton Family Compound here. Where something goes bad in the chat, he's going to really chop out.
Great.
He's the destructor.
Ben and I just got a producer volunteer just the other day. I think I saw him on here. Hey, Michael, we're going to have a producer starting soon, which will be nice because I use StreamYard like you do, and it's not easy. A lot of moving parts. So just being able to focus on your material be a great thing.
So King Pooh Bah's here.
That's my husband.
Hi, King Pooh Bah.
So welcome in. Matthias Little Hook with Melanie. She's going to send me a package, and it's supposed to be very heavy. That's going to be a lot of hot stuff in there. Welcome in, Melanie. I'm just joking. No, I'm not actually, but welcome in, everybody. And there's Hugo Homestead. And if you ever see HYGGE, it's Huga. All right. It's CB.
Okay, you don't know how many times when she changed. Okay, it used to be CB for the longest time, and then she changed it. She decided to do a channel. You know how many times I've screwed up her name? I would call it Higgy. And at one point in time, I even had a Post-it note on my computer. So when she'd come into my chat, I would pronounce it Huga because I screw it up every time. I love you, CB.
It's good stuff. Huga's good stuff.
And so I started remembering it by Animal House, right? Yeah. And I was like,
Huga.
Huga.
That's a good way.
And all of a sudden, I see people in chats going, "No, that's Huga.
Whatever works."
You guys got it. Oh, that's great. I love CB. Okay, so we're going to go back to the guide. I hope you guys like those parts. We're going to do that every single Thursday. It's a lot of work put in, a lot of research and time, and
Yeah,
we
you guys
really
do.
appreciate
I'm so impressed. I mean, that video was awesome. Your guide is great. Now I understand why my trivia questions weren't going to fly. I didn't understand we were going to do the whole guide on here, so I get it. I apologize for that.
We're trying. Well, we still got to do our seed packets today too, so that's going to be interesting. So we got to move on fast.
Oh, by the way, did you guys know you can get 10% off at MI Gardener?
No, tell me more.
Yeah. If you go to MI Gardener, you can use our hashtag, which is specifically chosen for us. Hashtag grow big. You get 10% off. If you spend up to $18, you can get free shipping. It's so cheap. It's so nice. You get the best seeds ever. And who doesn't love MI Gardener? So go over there and use our code, and it helps us out too.
So just make sure you use the hashtag. Just don't put grow big. You got to use hashtag grow big.
You have to use the hashtag.
With the free shipping and a hashtag, it's like getting 25% off your seeds.
Wow.
That's pretty cool stuff right there. So buy some more seeds.
You're practically saving money. You may as well.
And it helps our channel out tremendously, especially having Luke as a sponsor for it, or affiliate. Without people buying seeds, he's going to say, why should I be affiliate of Grow Big TV? Right? Nobody's buying seeds from there. I'm going to go to Jess from Roots and Refuge instead. So if you guys have a chance, use that code. Buy some seeds.
Good to know.
By the way, I just went shopping before I came on here. So I have a ton of seeds in my cart, and he has everything for everybody on there. So check it out. It's really cool.
So transplanting tomatoes. Planting tomatoes are most commonly transplanted rather than direct seeded into the garden. You can grow your own transplants by starting a seed indoors. One advantage of growing your own transplants is a wider selection of seeds. So go to Hit My Gardener and get the 10% off and use the hashtag grow big. That's pretty funny. I put that in there. We just said it. Most gardeners purchase their transplant from local sources. Look for short, stocky plants with dark green color and straight, sturdy stems, about the size of a pencil or thicker. Avoid plants with yellowing leaves, spots, or any other indication of insect disease or stress damage. So that's pretty cool. We went over that a little while before. Early form of flowers should be removed to allow the plants to concentrate on foliage production first. Tomatoes are warm season plants which do not tolerate frost or cold temperatures. Transplant into the garden after danger of frost is passed and the soil has warmed. So get that thermometer out. Place it in your ground. How warm is your soil? I bet you many people have done that. Cover plants if late frost or forecast after tomatoes have been planted. Give the plants as much sunshine as possible, a minimum of 6 hours of direct sunlight or optimal fruit production. For optimal fruit production, do not plant near black walnut trees because their roots produce a substance called juglone, which is toxic to tomatoes and some other plants. Space the plants 3 feet apart for small bush type plants or larger plants that will be stalked. Staked, sorry, not stalk. Who wants to become a stalk? Staked. Space larger plants 4 feet apart if on stake. Allow 4 to 5 feet between the rows. Since tomatoes will root along the stem, whereas contact with soil, transplants can be deeper into the garden than they were in the pot. Be sure to water the transplant thoroughly to establish good root soil contact and prevent wilting. Watering with a starter fertilizer solution will help the roots off to a good start. I like using Trifecta, which is a 5-10-4. Newly set transplants may need to be shaded for the first week or so to prevent drying of the leaves. Now, also, if you are worried about the sun, we put a little powder substance on our garden called, I'm trying to think of it, what it is now. Korky, what is the substance that we put on our plants for sunscreen?
For God's sakes. Really? I can't remember now either.
I know, which is like last second, and I didn't put it down, and I meant to.
I can't remember. Clay.
I'm curious. I've never heard of this.
Surround.
Surround. Yep. Surround.
Thank you. Why can't I remember? I need more tomatoes. That's
Yeah, better memory.
my brain working.
When I heard that, I'm like, huh. Well, it doesn't explain it for me.
So with surround too, guys. Surround helps because you're not going to get the insects on your plants when they're fresh from the when they're fresh. The insects want to come right to the plant. When you use the surround, it helps with the insects and it helps with the plants not getting.
What is it? You spray it on?
Yeah, you can spray it on. Yep, you can spray it or use.
When you use a garden sprayer, test it a little bit because sometimes you can get it too thick and it won't come out your sprayer. But yeah, shake it around a little bit, add some water to it, figure it out. Once you get it spraying correctly, spray it. You spray it underneath your leaves, on top of your leaves. The bugs hate it.
Is it organic? Do you know?
It's organic.
Wow.
Yep. It's like tasting dirt or like the worst thing you could taste. So the insects come to it, they taste it, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want this. Get the heck out of here." I actually have it right behind me. I have surround. I have the whole thing of it.
It saved my cucumbers last year because I had harlequin bugs and I had cucumber bugs like you wouldn't believe.
Does it help the spotted lanternfly?
I would assume so because
we have a big problem with those.
I'm not sure. I don't have spotted lanternfly here yet. I pray to God I don't have it yet.
Yeah, I hope for you too. They leave my tomatoes alone, but they get my eggplant.
Oh, really?
Definitely.
And they're so ugly.
Oh, they're awful.
Lord, surround does help a lot with that, by the way.
Oh, great.
Okay, Joe would know. He gets the spotted lanternfly, so.
I can't believe I've never heard of this. I am writing this down.
It does not hurt the bees. But then again, you don't want to spray it. I wouldn't spray it on flowers and stuff like that. You just want to spray it on the leaves, and you can spray it on the actual fruit. Like the squash, for instance. Like last year I had so many squash bugs and they were just littered all over it. So I just really, when I go out there and I spray it, I'm like, hi. Yeah. So I'm just spraying it. I'll spray that on there. And, you can use other things to help with that too, like peppermint, their garlic sprays, chive spray. I make all that myself. And it smells really disgusting, and try not to get it on yourself, but you spray that all over the place and nobody will come near you. Bugs won't, but nobody's coming near you either.
What about, I know it's a tomato show, but what about the cabbage whites and the for the brassicas? Do you know if it helps those?
You spray, because the surround is not going to hurt that at all. So if you spray that on there, it's going to keep the caterpillars and everything from
really.
Yeah.
I had a great cauliflower and broccoli and brassicas. It was great. Just got to make sure, because you don't want to spray that on your heads of your broccoli or anything.
Right.
So just make sure you spray it on the leaves.
Also,
and also
go ahead, Joe.
When you're doing your plants and transplanting, make sure you get the bottom of the plant too. So just get that little spray bottle and just spray up and then plant.
Yeah, it helps with transitioning your plants into sunlight too. So if you put that on there before they go outside, it'll help them not get sunburnt because it's like a clay. So it keeps the sun from burning your plants. And you also have to be really careful because just like every organic spray out there, once it rains, it washes off.
Okay.
So you have to just be mindful of that and just spray again. It's
kind of like BT kind of.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thanks, guys.
Jay, Jay has a question, but Jay, can you ask that question in a little while? Because I want to get through this page before we ask any kind of questions. All questions, right after I go through the guide, you guys could ask as many questions as you want. Just to keep everything going, because I don't want to stay on this page.
I have to head out, but thank you so much for having me on, and I will talk to you soon. I got to hit the road, so.
Nice meeting you.
Okay, Korky, see you later. Thank you so much.
And it was so nice to meet you, Lauren. It was
you too, Korky.
So great. You guys have a good night and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right. So with watering, Korky, you want me to get you out? I have to jump out of here. I don't know there it is. Okay, so for watering, the supply of adequate water to the roots of tomato plant is critical. under or over irrigation can have a devastating effect on the outcome of the crop. It is therefore very important to apply water at optimal times. Too little water might lead to suboptimal yields, plants developing, stunted growth, no production of flowers, low percentage of fruit set. Then we have slow fruit development, small fruit sizes, poor quality, and flower abortion. Too much water might lead to not enough oxygen in the soil. Plants become wilted, root diseases become prevalent, and no plant development. 4 stages of watering. So this is what I was talking a little bit before, is when water is totally different with tomato plants. So stage 1 is when you establish the plant. So up the first 4 weeks, seedling establishment take place and plants start to grow actively. Low amounts of water are used. So when you start those plants, you don't have to really add all that water. It's not like it's outside yet. Stage 2 is the vegetable growth development. So when you see the first fruits and flowers, that's when you want to start doubling the amount of water. So this is now went from little water, now you're adding so much more water. Then you get the fruit when the fruit set growth at its highest. So the water usage at this stage is at its highest during the lifespan of the crop. So it's grown from small. The more the season grows, you're watering more. And stage 4, when the ripening and harvesting, very high loads are on the plant. A lot of those tomatoes. Well, that's when water usage starts to decrease, because that's when you want to start to ripen. Provide support. So wire cages, stakes, trellis systems are all very popular for intermediate varieties. Install support structures before or soon after planting. I like doing it before, because then you don't have to worry about the ground structure. You don't want to worry about the root structure, so you want to make sure nothing's disturbed at all. Use tomato clips or ties as needed to attack plants to their support as they grow. Alternatively, stakes can be placed between each plant in a row and can twine and go right in and out and in and out and in and out as they get taller. Lauren, how do you do tomato plants? How do you stake them?
Good question. A variety of ways. We put 2 new raised beds in this year. Normally in our in-ground bed, Rob has set up these poles. I don't know what to call it. Green poles, like fencing type poles, and he puts those every 5 feet or so. And then we also have like the small tomato cages that don't really hold up anything more than a micro dwarf tomato, but we'll start in those. We'll attach it to those fence stakes, and then we were single stemming the in-ground bed stuff this year, but we did not do that with the raised beds, and the tomatoes were fantastic in the raised beds with no pruning. We did not single stem at all, and so I got these Texas tomato cages. Have you heard of those?
Yes, they go in a square. You're talking about the ones like that?
They're round. They're huge. I didn't learn about them until a couple months ago, and they fold flat. But I think it's texastomatoCage.com, you guys, if you want to look it up. These things are monsters. I want to get more, but they were awesome. So we play around, but the in-ground bed has pretty much been the same for a while, with those fencing posts, and then we just kind of string up along there.
It's just getting so expensive for the price of wood to get a stake.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it used to be $1 for a steak. Now it's like $5, $6 for a steak. It's like the cheapest way I have found out right now is just get T-post. And when you get the T-post, you know you're going to have it every year.
Yeah.
And then you just get a couple more every year. Every time you want to add plants, you just keep on going with that. And it's not going to break like a piece of wood if you have insect damage in the ground.
Right.
Bad insects. So summer care. Tomatoes need 1 and 1.5 inches of water per week to maintain plant health and good quality fruit. Apply a mulch that will conserve the soil moisture by preventing evaporation, and will help prevent extremes in moisture supply. So it's very important that you just don't leave the soil as it is. You want to keep on adding organic mulch, straw, hay, bark chips into the soil. That's very important. And make sure you don't want those weeds. You don't want that competition. Support both determined and intermediate plants to improve air movement and discourage disease and pest. So you want that space in between the plant, just like Korky said earlier. You want that space. You want to prune a little bit. You want nothing on the bottom of the plant. You don't want anything to touch the ground at all, ever. Anchor supports with stakes for extra stability. Mulch minimizes weeds, and we all get weeds. Stop the weeds. Well, then add the mulch. And that's and soil-borne diseases by doing that too. Let me see. Prune indeterminate plants help ripen fruit and prevent disease. Decide how many stems your plant will have and allow only selected side shoots to develop. Now, I don't prune as much as everybody else does because I don't want to get sun scald on my tomatoes. Because I plant them in heat all day. So they're going to be directly in that sun. You want shade on those tomatoes.
Yeah.
So I kind of leave them alone pretty much.
There's so many schools of thought for it. The only thing we really pruned the heck out of this year was the Big Zac because we wanted that big tomato, and we only allowed a couple tomatoes on the vine at a time, hoping that I see somebody put Texas tomato cages in there, hoping to get that big tomato. It didn't really make a difference, but yeah, our in-ground beds, which we used mushroom compost and topsoil mix in, which was like, oh my gosh, this stuff was amazing. We got huge tomatoes, a lot of tomatoes, and we really didn't prune. Honestly, it wasn't even a conscious decision. We didn't have a lot of time because we planted so many tomatoes, but I learned from it because I've learned that I don't think I'm going to prune as much anymore.
Yeah, I don't think we really need to in New Jersey as much as a lot of other places do.
No. But if you want to plant your plants closer together, like I know what's his name, not Garden State, your Garden State gardener, James Prigioni from the Gardening Channel, he single stems, and he'll put his plants, I could be wrong, it's either 12 or 16 inches apart because he only has one stem going up. So there's a lot of schools of thought on that.
Yes, he gets a lot less tomatoes too.
He does. I've noticed that too.
So
he's down by you, is it? Aren't you?
He lives 10 minutes from me, 10, 15 minutes.
Oh, funny.
He doesn't live far at all.
Yeah.
I'm going to go surprise him someday to see the dog and give the carrot to the dog.
Oh, I love him.
Tuck, you got to love Tuck.
The most adorable thing ever.
That'd be pretty funny. Who's this guy? I'm Garden State Gardener.
Need a Tuck fan club.
Let me see what else I have here. Yeah, so with early blight and late blight and stuff like that, you guys can't let your tomatoes touch the soil. Right. It is so important.
Yeah.
So for our fall tomato crops, topping plants will speed ripening if cold temperatures threaten. So if you're starting to see it cold, top the tomato plants. You're looking ahead at, 2 weeks ahead, it's going to get, your tomatoes are green. Top your tomato plants. The season's going to be over anyway. So top them. Or put a cloth over them. So, so you can keep the temperature. It's not going to affect it as much. Maybe you might get a couple more days. But definitely try to top your tomato plants at the end of the year. Container growing. So where space is limited or conditions are not suitable for tomato culture, tomatoes can be grown in containers. Although any large container will work as long as it provides adequate drainage. A general recommendation is to plant one tomato plant per 4 or 5 gallon container. Grow containerized tomatoes in artificial potting mix. Do not use regular garden topsoil or homemade compost. I thought that was very interesting. Because I'm thinking, well, just use compost, right? Compost is good for all.
Yeah.
But not so much.
Be too compacted in the containers.
Okay. Pay special attention to water and fertilizer needs because they don't have any. They have no nutrients in the container, so make sure you got to add it. And water dries out, so you got to pay extra attention to that. As container-grown tomato plants have no access to deep soil reservoir of water and nutrients, most containerized tomato varieties require stake, trellis, or support system. So if you have that container grown, make sure you put your stake inside or whatever you're going to have to climb up when you're adding the soil.
Yep. Yep. I use bamboo stakes for my grow bags. I do the 5-gallon grow bags for dwarf plants, and then I use 10-gallon for regular tomato plants, which works pretty well for me. But I know people that do regular in 5-gallon and seem to do just fine.
So I'm just looking at my phone quick. Uncle Al says this year I had tomatoes until last week. He's in California.
Wow. Very
Trying
nice.
to make a tomato temperatures. That is awesome. Let me see. Vendro Lance says, I prefer cardboard over weed barrier. Cardboard it's biodegradable and no mess left. That is true.
Yeah.
And you know what? Those cardboards, I just go down, I Uber. So since I Uber my third job,
Yeah.
you go to the Jersey Shore, you got a lot of drinking going on. You got a lot of cardboard laying around. I got to utilize
I'm a frequent Amazoner, so we are not lacking for cardboard in this house, that's for sure. But they use cardboard a lot for that lasagna gardening. And, they swear by it. It's really good for the soil breaking down.
I got to start adding up. My problem is when it's out, I'm actually Ubering, I'm working. I can't put it on my car.
Yeah,
I got to be one of those like 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to get some cardboard. So other tips. If flea beetle damage occurs on young plants, lots of small holes in the leaves, fertilizer for stronger growth. Usually no other treatment is needed if the plant is strong. So if the plant is strong, just add a little more fertilizer. The bee damage the leaves, it just kind of blossoms a little bit. So, and of course, try to work on that beetles if you have any on it. In dry or hot weather, soak the soil with at least 1 inch of water every 7 to 10 days. That's 3 gallons for an average tomato plant. So that's a lot of water when it gets really hot. I know in Jersey, for 2 weeks, we could have 95-degree temperatures every single day. And 3 years ago, I think it rained 3 times the whole entire summer.
Yeah, this past summer we didn't get a whole lot either, did we? I feel like we
last year was every single weekend, but that was it.
Oh yeah, you got more down south for some reason than we did. I don't know why. You're not that far away, but yeah, it definitely depends on the summer. And if you're growing in grow bags and containers, you definitely need to water more often than in ground or raised beds. But they sell those moisture meters. I have it's like a thing you stick in the ground and it'll test how dry the soil is, and we use that quite frequently to see if they need watering or not.
So we mentioned this before too. To promote fruit ripening, stop watering 30 days before the first frost, generally in October. So you got a break. You just pick tomatoes and you can them. You got a break. This is your break. So remove new blossoms and immature tomatoes that won't ripen before frost. To extend the productive season, cover the plant with plastic or protect from late season rain and cooler temperatures because you don't want that disease. That's when the disease comes in, guys. Or harvest the larger green tomatoes. Placing them in a single layer. Make sure they're not touched in a warm 65 to 70 degree dark location. That's important. Remove all plant debris at season's end to reduce future pests and diseases because you don't want the disease to stay in your garden. Some people just put it in compost, the plants. I don't like doing that. I just like to burn it. The thing with compost, they're saying, it's going to burn. So if you have good compost, you don't have to worry about it. I don't like it's tomatoes. It's a diseased tomato plant. That's going nowhere in my garden.
Same. Yeah.
And try to pull them out too. So make sure they do the whole entire life cycle. But pull them out because then there's going to be some. That's another reason why I like to put them in some fire. Fire.
You men just like fire. Let's face it. You just like to burn things.
that is a fact. Nothing like having a cocktail and a fire going. So a lot of bugs go to those, in the bottom of the plant and the roots and stuff like that. Well, take them out and just throw them in the heat. You won't see them anymore.
Nope, you will not.
So you don't have to worry about it. Let me see. Rotate crops. So wait 3 to 4 years before planting tomatoes, the tomato family. So your tomatoes, eggplant, peppers, and potatoes members in the same spot. If you do plant tomatoes in the same spot, make sure you add to the soil. That's very important. A lot of people have planted in the same exact section for years. Just make sure you add to that soil because you're taking a lot up and insects might come to that plant. So if you see a lot more insects one year, make sure you rotate no matter what. Avoid high nitrogen fertilizers. A lot of people want to use the 20-20-20 and things like that. You don't need that on tomato plants. Too much nitrogen encourages foliage at the expense of the fruit. Consider using a slow release product to provide a low continuous supply. I see these farmers, the 20-20-20 and stuff like that for tomatoes. Like, what are you, crazy?
I know. You're going to get a whole lot of leaves and it's going to look beautiful and you're not going to have any fruit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So common problems. We're getting a little finished up here, guys, on this part. We got a lot to go. Lauren, you ready to go?
I'm ready. I'm going to have to do a bathroom break at some point, but I'm ready.
Anytime you're ready for a bathroom break, it's all good with me.
All right.
I'm good. Last time, my Luke interview, I had to go so bad. I'm like, hold it a little bit longer.
I told you I could talk for tomatoes for forever. You won't lose me. So unless I fall asleep, but I doubt that. I'm talking tomatoes.
Love it. You're gonna sleep. You're gonna dream of tomatoes tonight, but don't dream of this. The common problems, like the flea beetles. Flea beetles may attack young tomato plants. Protect new transplants from insect during the first 2 or 3 weeks of growth with floating row covers. And I do it with the surround because tomato seedlings are fragile. Fragile. Drape the row cover over wire hoops. So that's pretty cool. The cutworms or soil-dwelling caterpillars that feed on stems or just below the soil level, essentially cutting off transplants at the base. This damage can be prevented using a protective cutworm collar that goes 1 inch deep and about 2 inches above the newly set transplant. And I'm going to move a little faster than this, guys, because I don't want to be in this all night. But though using that surround really helps with this. And like we said before, it's organic. So boom.
Is that the white stuff that James Pergioni puts on his fruit trees?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I never knew. He probably said what it was called. And I guess I just never thought of applying it to tomatoes. It's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people use it. Now, if you do use a surround, make sure it's not fruiting because you don't want to put that up. I mean, tomatoes going to be fine or whatever you're going to have is fine, but you don't want that. If the bugs don't like the taste, it's not going to be the same to us, supposedly. Yeah. To me, the insides, not to me, the insides are still fine, but you don't want that white residue on your tomato.
Right.
So just make sure you know how to use it on your plants. Hornworms are very large green caterpillars. The hornworm!
The dreaded hornworm, the enemy of every tomato grower.
Now, I using basil between each tomato plant, it's great. I haven't had any hornworms, but I tell you what, if you see a tomato plant starting getting eaten, look for the black poops. They split up. They could eat a whole tomato plant within 3 days.
And you can go out with a fluorescent flashlight at night, and they will glow. I found though, I plant borage. BORAGE keeps the hornworms away. Since I've put those in my tomato beds, we haven't seen any hornworms either, which is kind of a bummer because we kind of like going out with the fluorescent light at night and spotting them. But yeah, borage works fantastic also.
There you go, and they're great for pollinators.
Yes,
so you got the pollinators, you got a good smell, and you're taking away that ugly green guy. I mean, man, it's the ugliest, one of the ugliest looking things you ever see.
It is the ugliest. And when they've got the babies on their back, it's just the most horrific thing. Ugh.
Now, septoria, leaf spot, early blight, and late blight are all fungal diseases on tomatoes. The fungi that causes septoria, leaf spot, and early blight overwinter on black plant debris in the soil. Both are common causes of spots on tomatoes, with symptoms usually beginning on the lower leaves. So I'm not going to read the rest of this, but that's the reason why we say that the lower, you don't want your plant to hit the soil. Never, ever. The plant, it just goes right on up, and a tomato plant will not reach its full maturation, or the whole process. Causes of poor tomato fruit set. So if you have those problems on your tomatoes and you only grow like 5 tomatoes, well, let's read a little more about this. So the transition of a flower into young fruit is very sensitive to several environment factors over which gardeners have some control. So we got a little bit of control, guys. Not all control, but we got a little bit. So the temperature and humidity. Daytime temperatures above 90 and night temperatures above 70 result in reduced flowering and fruit set. Now, this is very important to know because with climate change, everything's getting hotter. So here the season comes, you have a cooler spring. That's what we've been getting in New Jersey. Then all of a sudden our summer's all hot. Well, when is the plant going to start to get flowers? When is it going to be able from the flower to turn to make that tomato, right? So you got to make sure you plant them in the right where are you going to plant these? How are you going to get a little lower? Are you going to have a little more night when it turns 3 o'clock? Or are you going to plant where it's a little shaded so it's a little cooler? So that's very important. There is considerable evidence that night temperatures is a critical factor in setting tomato fruit. Right on. The optimal range is between 59 and 68 degrees. With night temperatures much below or above this critical range, fruiting is reduced or absent. Low temperatures reduce the production and viability of pollen. So that's the reason why you get all those late season tomatoes. It's because they're in a great range for them to grow.
Yep.
High temperatures, especially if accompanied by low humidity and moisture, hinders fruit set through failure in pollination. Reduced fruiting may result from either stunted or excessively vigorous vegetative growth. Injury from disease and insects, especially sucking insects, such as aphids and thrips, can severely check growth. And inadequate moisture and available nitrogen can hinder growth and flower production. So all these things are what will reduce your fruit set, which stinks. All that effort you started, all the months before you started, you don't you want tomatoes. You want to give them out to the neighbors. You want to give them out to people who said, no, I don't want them. Because you've grown so many that you did so good. Put them in your front yard. Maybe you get a couple extra bucks. Everything's expensive today. Maybe somebody will buy, put a stand, say a donation stand. Maybe you might get a couple extra dollars for putting, I'll give them to everybody at my work. I give them to all my friends and I put them in my front yard.
Yeah. Tomato growers and lovers. We're like the best friends to have come the season because you're going to get the best tasting tomatoes you've ever had. Even at your farm stand's not going to have tomatoes this good. Right, Joe?
That's a fact.
Yep.
Welcome in, Teresa, and welcome in, How to Garden. It's good to see you. Okay, so guys, again, I don't really see your chat because I'm reading this. So we're going to read all kind of questions you guys can ask in a little while. We're on page 11 of 15, so we're getting there. Environmental stress disorders. Now, blossom end rot. Blossom end rot, and that happens more like in your San Marzano.
Yeah.
Tomatoes. So if you see that, you want to add that calcium. That's so important. It stinks when you grow the healthiest tomato. You're thinking the healthiest plant, and all of a sudden, that tomato's turning great. You get so excited, but you don't really turn over the bottom. You turn the bottom, you're like, what the heck is that? That's blossom end rot.
Yeah.
And it's also most often brought on by extremes in soil moisture or calcium, or more serious during hot, dry spells.
And really, it's also irregular watering. So if you have like a really dry spell and then it starts raining, you're more prone to that too. And it's you mentioned calcium. Calcium really helps, but it's the calcium leaching from the soil that can cause it. Sometimes it's just you can't. It happens to all of us at some point. Some varieties, like you said, are more prone to others. And I find that at the beginning of the season, I seem to get more than at the end of the season. But, you can't argue with Mother Nature, right? If it's going to have a lot of rain and all of that, sometimes you're just going to get it. But calcium does help, and whatever you guys use for calcium. I like the Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster. A lot of people use eggshells. There's a lot of great things out there you can use for calcium.
So if you see this and you're getting tons and tons of rain, you got to add to it because everything's getting washed away, guys. All your nutrients, everything in the garden is get washed away.
Yeah.
So you gotta think about that. It's if you're eating something and it totally flows right through you want to get some Gatorade to make sure you get refreshed. Well, plant's saying the same thing, sort of.
Good analogy, yeah.
I don't know. I was going to say that. I got a colonoscopy next week. I'm not looking forward to it. I got to make sure I have a lot of Gatorade.
There you go. Same thing.
Turning 50 over 50 stinks, you know.
I know.
So that's if you guys are over 50, make sure you get a colonoscopy. It can save your life.
Public service announcement.
No, I'm not looking forward to get cleaned out.
Is this your first time?
First one, yeah.
Oh.
I did have intestinal issues before. I had diverticulitis. I had 2 resections, and I never got a colonoscopy. I had a barium enema, which is a little different, but I never had I never got a colonoscopy.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
So I'm ready. I'm just ready to get knocked out, and you know what's worse? It's during our Christmas party for work. So,
oh gosh, do you know you're the second person that's told me that recently that they were gonna have to prep during Christmas or something too. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a bummer.
Well, I come out of it, so I go from being dehydrated and all the way up to a party.
And there you. Oh, that's good. That's better.
Actually, you know what? I can't go party that night because I got a show that night. So, a lot more Gatorade, I guess. Okay, so cat facer, then you get some cat facing going on. It's puckering and scarring at the bottom blossom end of the fruit. Cavities may penetrate deep into the fruit. So that's those ugly little things. That's the cat facing. It's like, but some of those, I tell you what, are some of the best tasting tomatoes.
They are. I love a good cat face tomato sometimes. Sometimes they're like several that are together and they don't ripen at the same times, which can make it almost inedible. But sometimes the ugly ones are the best tasting ones, that's for sure.
And cool and cloudy weather at blossoming time may cause the blossom to stick to the young developing fruit, resulting in a malformation. So that's pretty cool. Cloudy spots are irregular whitish spots just under the skin, are the result of stink bugs. I don't know about you, but we got a lot of stink bugs.
I was just going to say the same thing. I'd never seen them before, like in the garden. And yeah, this year at the end of the season, all of a sudden I'm like, what the heck are these things? Stink bugs.
Stink bugs, and they're out there. So that the cloudy spots is because, and the whitish spots is because of the freaking stink bug.
They were eating right into the tomato. It was crazy.
Yeah. And there's some other kind of common problems with diseases. Now, freezing tomatoes. Now, I have never freezed tomatoes. Have you?
I have some in my freezer right over there. I can go grab the bag if you want. They look beautiful.
We'll show them in a little bit.
All right.
Only if you have to go to the bathroom.
I do, so I can get them on my way back from the bathroom.
You go ahead. I'm going to talk about this.
All right. Be right back.
Okay. So freeze tomatoes. Remove tomato skins by cutting an X through the outside skin and carefully lowering the tomato into boiling water for 30 seconds. Then plunge it into the ice water for a few seconds. The skins will slide right on off. Allow tomatoes to cool, cut into quarters, fill freezer bags, removing as much air as possible for sealing. If you don't mind the skins, stick sliced tomatoes or whole cherry tomatoes in a freezer bag, then place them in a freezer. Season tomatoes after they are destroyed and right before they are served. If prepared correctly, tomatoes can last in your freezer up to 1 whole year, which is pretty awesome. Preserve tomatoes now to enjoy the sweet rewards of your summer vegetable garden long after the harvest season is over. And you got the canned tomatoes. Sanitize jars in boiling water. Keep water until ready for use or to avoid breakage. Blanch tomatoes in boiling water for 30 seconds. Cool, peel, core, and half or quarter tomatoes in a strained place over a bowl to catch juices. Remove the seeds. Then you add salt and herbs such as basil, tarragon, oregano to each jar. Include about 1 teaspoon each. Then you place the tomatoes in the jars, fill the jars with leftover tomato juice, leaving about a half an inch headroom. Press down to remove all the air bubbles. Wipe the rim, pull the lid, and screw on the ring until fingertip tight. Place tomato jars in boiling water to cover them for 1 to 2 inches of water. Then cover the pot and let simmer 44 minutes or until the lids pop. Remove pop from heat and let it sit for 5 minutes. Place the jars upwards in a towel on the stove for at least 12 hours. Test the lids within 24 hours to make sure they don't pop. If the lid pops, you can immediately reprocess after making sure the jar is full, the rim is clean, and the seal is tight. Or you can refrigerate them within a few days. Now, dehydrating tomatoes. So all these things you can do after the season. We're moving on pretty fast here. Dehydrate tomatoes, slice the paste tomatoes, such as Romas, into a 1/4 inch thick rings. Arrange pieces on a dehydrated tray so there are no touching. Sprinkle with little salt, little herbs. Use herbs grown in your own garden. Yeah, gotta use those herbs from the garden. It's the best. Dehydrate tomatoes until moisture is removed. Dehydrating can be done in a dehydrator, a conventional gas or electric oven. Very slow time, guys. Not too hot. As low as you get. Get your own little dehydrator. They work best. Time varies based on the moisture and the tomatoes, thickness of the slices. They dehydrate itself and the humidity in the air. They're finished when tomatoes are flexible but not brittle. To store, seal in an all airtight container or plastic bag in a refrigerator. How do I pick seeds to preserve? I think that's one of our last things to talk about. The general rule of thumb is to only take open pollinated seeds or heirlooms. Hybrid tomatoes often produce sterile seeds, or they do not produce seed with the same desirable traits of the parent plant. Harvest seeds from tomatoes that are healthy and embody the characteristics you're interested in preserving. So get the biggest tomatoes, the healthiest ones. That's the seeds you want. The healthier tomato you have every year, boom, the better seeds you have for generations and generations. For example, you would pick seeds from the juiciest tomato or the ones that are the most interesting colors. It's your choice, but make sure you pick from healthy plants. Okay, that's a little bit about fermentation. So let me see if that was it, guys. Oh, yeah, we're almost done. Okay, ferment seeds. So that's what
I have never seen something so thorough, Joe. I really commend you. This is a master class in tomato growing. Honestly, you did a fantastic job. You and your team, really wonderful.
Tomatoes from A to Z. That's the way I look at it.
It's
so
great.
If you guys there's 44 people in the chat still listening to me, so that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Listen to us. Sorry, my apology.
It's okay.
It is not absolutely necessary to ferment your tomato seeds, but fermenting makes it easier to completely separate the seeds from that gel. Now, you're going to have some smelly times with this, but this is how you properly get your seeds. Fermenting also eliminates the bad seeds and reduces the possibility of seed-borne diseases. That's why you got to worry about some companies is they don't use this process. Right. Wash tomatoes, slice each in half across the middle, not the end of the stem. Squeeze the seeds and juice into a labeled glass or plastic container. Set containers aside when half full. Place containers in an area that is out of direct sunlight and out of the way so the fruit flies and odor will not bother you. Guys, the odor is going to bother you. It's just a way.
It's stinky.
It's stinky.
I put coffee filters over mine to keep the fruit flies out, and I just label the date when I put them in there and put a rubber band around it. Works great. But
the seeds you get out of those tomatoes, the amount of them are awesome.
Yep.
You could share with and everything. Whew. It's the way to do it.
Yep.
Now let the seeds sit for 3 to 5 days or until the surface of the container shows a whitish mold. Because that's what they get. They get that little mold stuff. You're like, ew. Now you just want to throw the whole thing out. No, don't throw it out. This is a good thing. The seeds should be floating at this point. In warmer climates, you may need to add some water to keep the seeds afloat. Gently scrape the mold off with a spoon. Do not remove the seeds. Fill a container with water, then stir it. So it's a process. The seeds you want will sink to the bottom. Pull off the excess or to remove floating seeds and pulp. Reduce the process until the good seeds at the bottom are clean, because that's what you want. Pour the good seeds into a strainer, then rinse and drain them. Let me see. Last sentence, guys. This is it. We're almost done. You guys stayed with me the whole time. This is crazy. 46 people are listening to me. I think they want a break after my voice for a while. But Sunday Fun Day's coming. Nutritional value. So processing tomatoes are nutrient-dense fruit. 1 4-ounce tomato supplies about 1/3 of the recommended daily allowance for vitamin C, plus contains beta-carotene, potassium, folic acid, and other B vitamins, iron, and fiber. Tomatoes are naturally low-calorie food. Studies show processing tomatoes are a leading source of lycopene of the American diet. Lycopene, an ingredient that makes tomatoes red, is an antioxidant that blocks cellular damage and highly effective in preventing cancers. Tomatoes do not lose their health benefits as they are processed and cooked. In fact, lycopene in cooked and processed tomatoes, like sauce, pasta, salsa, and canned tomatoes are more easily absorbed than fresh tomatoes.
Yeah.
So, done with that.
Yay!
Hi, guys. I'm back. I can read the chat now.
You did
Now,
great.
there was a question before in the chat. How did you get into tomatoes?
Me?
Yes.
I got into tomatoes. My husband and I, when we were first married in our early to mid 20s, we moved out to where we grew up after college, got married, and we're out in the boondocks of New Jersey. There is such a thing, but we're out in the country. We have this land and wanted a garden, and I love tomatoes. I remember, eating Jersey tomatoes as a child. My dad grew, and it really just, I wasn't as maniacal about tomatoes as I am today. That's definitely evolved. It really kicked up once the kids kind of left the house, and I can use like the basement as my grow room and stuff. But I heard Brad Gates is of Wild Dwarf Farms. He's a famous tomato breeder, for those of you that may not know, although I'm guessing if you're here, you know. I heard him say in a podcast once that more has happened, or there's more varieties that have come out in the last 10 years in the tomato world than every variety that's ever grown. There's just so much going on. There's so many new exciting varieties out there, and I want to try them all. They're exciting. The colors, the flavors, I love everything about it. It's something my husband and I enjoy doing together. So there's a lot of components to it. And then with Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, meeting the tomato people, and I know many of you are watching. Tomato people are very generous, kind people. We love to share seeds, and it's a great community. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
You're always looking for something better. That's what's crazy. You want to see something that's grown for you, like, oh my God, this is perfect for me. This is like the best tasting tomato.
Yeah, I do carry over some of our favorites from years before. I know, like Jen Joy, she never repeats a tomato. I'm not that person, but we will only keep a couple because there's so many new ones we want to try.
It's awesome. So CR, which is creative redundancies, does the vitamin C degrade with the heat though? It does degrade a little bit, but not like other vegetables when you put them in heat. Tomatoes keep that vitamin C in it.
Hey, I got those frozen tomatoes if you want to see.
Yes, before they thaw. There we go.
It's my first year doing it, and it was somebody in the group that suggested it. I actually kept the labels because I understand once they thaw, the skins fall right off, kind of like when you want to boil, when you want a sauce. So I kept the labels on to remind myself of what variety they are. And then this one is a bag of we have our own tomato. It's called Bananas Noir. I'm going to give away seeds tonight if we have time for giveaways. This was an accidental cross we had in our garden years ago of Ananas Noir, or black pineapple, and an unknown cherry. And it's just the sweetest. I know it looks kind of ugly in here, but you cut into it, there's pink inside. It's beautiful. It's sweet. It's tasty. So this bag is all Bananas Noir, which I kind of forgot I did until just going to get it. Now I want to try them. So yes, apparently you can thaw them. And, I thought for New Year's, maybe I'd try making some salsa out of some of them and all that. But yeah, this is my first year trying it.
Do you want to go put it back in your freezer fast?
If you don't mind, thanks.
Go.
Right back.
How you doing, Barb Brownlee? How you doing? So, tomatoes from Facebook and our channel. Everybody come together, it's a perfect combo because there's so many good people here. This is the kind of people you want to talk to. combined together, and it's special. So go on Facebook, check out that group.
Thanks,
And,
Joe.
great
You
to-
mentioned do you have a new group that you've started with this channel?
Well, this is what my channel. This is just my Grow Big channel. This is something new.
I thought
And then I have my Garden State Gardener channel, which is
a Facebook group. I mean, did you?
it's the
start
same
something
thing.
like
It's just don't think.
okay.
Oh, the free seeds. I was given 100 days of free seeds, and so each day I was giving out free seeds on Facebook and YouTube. Guess that's what I do.
Well, that's one of the things I love about you, besides your infectious demeanors, you're just the most incredibly generous person. Yeah.
But I know once Christmas comes, I need a break. So I'll start it up in the spring again.
Yeah.
But I do need a little bit break for giving out seeds. It's just too much. I'm getting mine. I work too long to do anything else, and I'm trying.
Yeah.
So Dana Smith says, Lauren, what is your favorite way to eat tomatoes?
That's a really good question. It's tough to pick just one, but it would either just be, sliced with a little bit of salt on it. But if you have to ask me one, it's going to be the tomato sandwich. And I'm a purist when it comes to my Jersey tomato sandwich. It's the worst bread in the world, but I use Wonder Bread because I want the star of the show to be the tomato and not the bread. And that is really soft. It's almost like there's nothing there, but it's still something. I use, thanks, Nicole. I use, I'm plant-based. I'm vegan because I live with a chronic illness and it helps me with my pain. So I use the, Hellman's makes a vegan mayo now, which tastes just like the real thing. Salt and pepper. Boom. That's my perfect tomato sandwich.
See, when I first started tomatoes, my mom tricked me. She told me it was you can make your own. I love pizza. Living in New Jersey, you got pizza.
Yeah.
Well, Mama goes, you can make your own pizza sandwich. I go, what is that?
Clever mom.
And so I had a piece of bread as my dough, the tomato as the sauce, and we put some cheese on it or something, or lettuce. You go, hey, look, you can make your own pizza sandwich. And so I had 2 a day for the longest time.
A lot of people use like ciabatta bread and like all the herbs and stuff. With my sandwich, I want salt and pepper, mayonnaise, and hardly bread at all, which is Wonder Bread. It's probably got, I don't even know what it's made out of. I don't even want to know, but it tastes good in the summertime.
Thank you so much, Jane.
Thanks, Jane Doe. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And Juliana goes, oh, I love a science experiment tomato.
Me too. My YouTube channel, I like to do tomato experiments. I talk about rooting suckers in there, which we talked about earlier, cloning micro dwarf tomato plants, which you can actually do. I've got an episode about saving seeds. So I don't have a huge amount of content on there, but I'm working on it.
So Juby goes, can chickens safely eat hornworms that were eating tomato leaves? I've been told it will make chickens sick. Is that true? I have not heard they make them sick. I heard that chickens love hornworms.
I've heard that too. I never heard about that's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, what did Juliana? The only thing I heard is they love them. So I would continue doing that because generations, that's what they have done. Just give.
I know Jen Joy would know. She feeds hornworms to her chickens. I hear a lot of people talking about, but I never heard about the leaf thing. That's interesting.
Yeah, I want a tomato sandwich so bad right now.
Me too. I don't think I can do it with the frozen tomatoes, but maybe at midnight I'll be trying. I don't know.
Yes, Spanish rice and salsa.
Yum.
I've done that. That's very good.
It's really, really, I can't bring myself to buy a tomato at the store in the winter. They're just these anemic looking, they don't even taste like a tomato. Michael's the one who's going to be our producer. He uses, I meant to show this actually. He talks about the crack key method of growing, which is growing hydroponically. So I'm trying this because of Michael. He's never put a tomato seed in soil. He's only used hydroponically. And he did an episode on Tomato Talk Live with us. He was a guest. And yeah, my plant's not looking so great, Michael. We need to talk. But I will still be your friend if you've never had a tomato sandwich.
Well, what kind of nutrients are you putting into that?
I'm using a Grow Big by Fox Farm, which I'm sure is not enough. I don't know.
You have to make sure it's added nutrients to make sure it grows good.
Yeah.
But what other? Tell everybody about your dwarf, your micros behind you.
So these are micro dwarf tomatoes. For those of you that don't know, there's a lot of discrepancy in what's considered a micro dwarf tomato. Craig LaHoulier of the Dwarf Tomato Project calls anything a dwarf tomato anything between 2 feet and 5 feet. A lot of people think micro dwarfs are anything less than 12 inches, which leaves this big gap, like what's between 12 inches and 24. So I've been calling them mini dwarfs, but I'm using a general term, micro dwarf, anything under 24 inches. So I've been growing these indoors for the past 2 seasons. Not this particular plant, although I do have one over here who was planted in August 2022, who's still alive, my Vilma. And they're great. There are, at my last count, about over 300 varieties of micro or mini dwarf tomatoes. They're different colors, different sizes, different shapes. I won't lie, they don't all taste great. But there are some that do. And I tasted one yesterday. My favorite, this one's called Ditmarsher, by the way, which I will be doing a review on soon. Vilma I'm sorry, go ahead.
They're still better in the store.
They are still better than the store, yes. Some
store.
of them, it's not that they taste bad. Some of them just don't have much flavor at all. Like Brad Gates had released one last year, Golden Hour, which was tasteless, pretty, but tasteless. So Vilma's been my number one favorite for the past 2 years, but this is one I've reviewed yesterday called Candy Berry. You can get seeds at Meraki Seeds and Vienna Seeds. They're not all that available here in the United States yet, but if you come to our group, we're swapping. This is a delicious, delicious micro dwarf tomato. And then, there was another one I wanted to show you guys. Here it is. This is my second favorite micro, called Tiny Totem, and you can see the size of these fruits are big. This is the largest fruited micro that I'm aware of. I'm doing an experiment with this. This is a 2-gallon grow bag. Most of them will do fine in a 1-gallon grow bag, but with Tiny Totem, I did 2-gallon, and this is a 1-gallon pot starting to ripen. The one in the 2-gallon grow bag's doing better. I've been testing a lot, doing grow bags with saucers underneath with these micros. But they're fun and exciting, and they're not all tasteless. If your first introduction to micro dwarf tomatoes was Orange Hat from Baker Creek, do not let that be your last, because that is probably the worst micro dwarf I've ever tasted. Why they carry only that one, I don't know. But if you join Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, I have a resource sheet where I've spent a lot of time and research showing all the heights of different things and my reviews on flavor of the ones I've tasted. So that's free for members to look at. But yeah, don't let Orange Hat be your only foray into micros, because they are very exciting, especially in the winter where you grow light and the pot and some soil. You can have, really good tomatoes. I love them.
So, let me see 1 second. I'm trying to get my notes here.
This is another one. I haven't reviewed it yet. This is called Siberish Zimmer Tomate. I think it's from the Ukraine.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, some of them are just so pretty. And this is one of the tinier ones. This is called Microtina. She will not get any bigger than this. So you can get them. They also make great gifts. You know how I mentioned earlier, Joe, that I can't kill like an extra seedling? I've been saving my extra seedlings from this micropalooza we're doing in TLC. And I'm going to put them in pots and give them away as gifts. They can go on somebody's kitchen counter and they get tomatoes. They're really cute.
And it's funny because in the winter, you don't usually have that many tomatoes. You don't need as many. In the summer, you just keep on popping. In the winter, you have a couple. So the dwarf tomatoes, the micros, it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, it really is. One more I want to show you, just because the shape is very unique. I just want to show you guys the different differences in what they look like. This one is called Funny Plum Orange. See the unique shape on that? There's orange, pink, red, yellow. This is my first time growing that, but there's just so many unique things. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. I'm actually trying my very first foray into breeding my own, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
That's your science. Everything's a science experiment, but this is your science experiment.
It is. And I was terrible at science in school, but when it comes to tomatoes, I'm all of a sudden a genius.
So for the cranky method, Jay just posted a link there. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Jay.
And there's Jane. Jane, thank you for posting Lauren's link
Jane.
again.
Thank you.
And guys, I'll just let you guys know for those new in the channel, we have an ugly sweater contest. And the winner wins a Ninja mixer. That goes off on December 26th. So there's only 3 people entered so far. So if you want to go to my channel, Grow Big TV, and check out the ugly sweater contest. Read the rules. It's pretty simple. And you got to put all in. But there's only 3 people. And it's a pretty cool prize to win a Ninja mixer. So
wow.
I need to add that in before I forget.
That's a good prize.
Oh, it's an awesome prize.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been ranging. They were usually around $100, $150 somewhere's in there. So only if you get a really good discount somewhere, then hey, yeah, get it. It's a great mixer. It's one of the best mixers you can get.
I know, it's great. You're so much fun, Joe. It's not a wonder why you have people hanging in with you for a couple hours. You are just a lot of fun.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, you're very easy to talk to too. So
Thank you.
Like you said, we could talk about tomatoes all night.
Yep. I often say, like, the regular earth people, they don't get it, but tomato people, they get it.
A lot better talking about this than colonoscopies.
Yeah.
So Dana Smith says, how did you get started with micros?
Orange hat from Baker Creek. But thankfully I didn't stop there. It's a cute little plant. I was sold in because Baker Creek has very good marketing and filters on their cameras, making everything look great. But actually, this is another big reason. So I run, besides my tomato group, my other passion is I run a group called Attitude of Gratitude with Chronic Pain for those living with chronic pain and illness like me. And just like a solution-based group for people to not stay stuck in the problem and focus on, finding joy in life through things like gardening. And so a lot of my members, we have 11,000 members. A lot of our members are housebound, bedbound. And so I wanted to find something for them and show them that they could get the benefits of gardening without having to have the backbreaking work of, regular tomato gardening. So I started, I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm thinking, I went into this project thing. I'm going to grow all the micros because that's my addictive personality, thinking there's only like 30. But yeah, my resource list is up to about 300 at this point. So, I wanted to show them that you can grow tomatoes no matter what your situation, your health, whatever, and it's fun. That's how I got started.
So did you ever get any little black bugs inside? Well, if you're growing
in the house?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I've got bugs. I'm surprised I haven't been swatting. Yes. I get the, what do they call them? The fungus gnats. But these, do I have one handy? I've got all kinds of those yellow sticky traps that I have all over the place. I'm willing to look over the bugs for the benefit of these juicy, yummy tomatoes in the middle of winter. I also grow lettuce indoors in these Rubbermaid bins, so we have salad all year round too.
I get my ladybugs and I just leave them inside, by the way, and that helps out tremendously.
Yeah.
And you can just put them in a fridge and stuff like that.
I've wondered about that, Joe.
Mm-hmm. I leave them inside, put them in my thing, and just get them early. I get them actually every single month. I get them.
Yeah.
Mail stuff.
And so you get the ladybugs, you order them, and then you just kind of let them go loose on your plants. Is that what you do?
Yeah. Just let them go.
And they don't get out of hand.
What are they going to do? What are they going to leave the food source? They're not going to leave.
True. That's a good point. How many do you get?
I get a small little thing.
This is interesting.
I don't have them in here. I should get some more soon. But yeah, they just come in a little bag. And just put a couple here, a couple there. That's all you really much need. Let them go to work. Let them become your friend.
That. Yeah.
Then if you want to keep them there, just spray. There's a spray that you have. Man, I wish I had it here right now. Well, anyway, let's keep the show moving. There's 40 people still here. 2 hours and 15 minutes. Let me see.
And the soil I use, Fox Farm Ocean Forest soil, which I swear by. That tends to get a little bit buggy as well. But those yellow fungus or yellow sticky traps, and then what do they call them? Mosquito bits. I use those sometimes too. They help. Tiny Tim. I bet that was the very first micro dwarf tomato. That is my theory. That one's been around a long time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Happy back. Maybe they're just black aphids. So that's the reason why I was thinking ladybugs. And thank you, Jane, for posting the ugly sweater link. There's a good question. Barb Brownlee. Lauren, what is the sweetest micro or mini tomato you have tried?
Well, I'm going to have a taste off on my YouTube channel because it was Vilma. And then Candy Berry came into my life yesterday, and it's going to be close. So it's either Vilma or Candy Berry, but those two are the sweetest, with Tiny Totem being number 3. But yeah, Vilma is pretty readily available here in the United States. Candy Berry, you can order from Meraki Seeds or Vienna Seeds, both shipped to the United States if you're in the United States. Yeah, you can get the Candy Berries. Awesome. I will be saving seeds from this. I didn't want to pick everything off and save the seeds before tonight because I want to be able to show it to you fine people. But tomorrow I will be saving seeds. It's delicious.
And as Cynthia said, micros are for nursing home patients.
Yes, exactly. Great. I like the way you think.
Because they put so much care in it.
Yeah.
Because they're in a nursing home. They don't have as many friends and family. That tomato plant becomes their family, sort of, in a way.
Yep. And there's nothing better than just watching something grow. And 300. I know. I know. It's crazy. It's crazy. Michael, nobody likes Orange Hat.
Hey, Brampton Gardner's here. So Brampton Gardner, I've been friends with her on YouTube for the longest time. I love her. She's awesome.
Was she ever on your show?
Yes.
I feel like she may have been on the last time I was on. I don't know why.
I think she was. I think she was.
Hey, Brampton Gardner.
Oh, that's funny. I love her. She's awesome, Michelle.
Yeah.
Just
Brampton Gardner says she vacuums up the nets and use sticky traps. How do you vacuum up the nets?
There we go. Jay Dixon with the lady. Nature's Good, guys. That's exactly where I get them from.
Interesting. I'm going to have to look into that.
If you guys have a chance, please hit that bell. I appreciate that. There's 63 likes supposedly. So if you could do that for me, I appreciate it. And Hendo just got home from work because he's in the EU. He's not from around here. It feels so weird when you have people all over the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about. You got a little bit more time?
Yes.
You okay?
Yep.
So, since we're doing the whole show, I'm also continue doing what we were going to do today. And this was our seed packets. So we're going to go over several of the seed packets really fast today. We usually do more thoroughly, but we're not going to do that. We're going to give these away in a contest. So MI Gardener, we have a relationship with them with our channel. Please use the code #GrowBigTV for 10% off. You spend $18, you get another 10% off. So it's more like you're saving 25% off your seeds. Okay, so the Jersey Devil. Have you ever grown this?
I have not. I was going to this year. I know, being from Jersey, it's kind of crazy. I hear it's good.
Now, I have grown this every single year. The only thing I don't like about it is you don't grow. It's not abundant. but the taste and size of this is awesome.
Yeah.
What you put this on your tomatoes? This is what I want to grow. This is exactly what I want to grow for tomatoes. So grow 3 or 4 plants, and you'll get your. It's more of a late season too. It's not an early season tomato. It's more like a later season. It takes a while to develop those tomatoes, but beautiful, beautiful tomatoes. So the Jersey Devil tomato. And the reason why we did that vegetable today is because Lauren's here too. So let me expand this out. A massive paste variety. These acidic syntagal fruits, tomatoes grow prolifically and grow up to 6 inches long. So that's how long, 6 inches. They're very flavorful, perfect for use in sauces and salsa. Guys, to taste this is absolutely amazing. Tomatoes come in a variety of colors, therefore we can learn to determine a ripeness through other senses. As tomatoes ripen, their colors become shiny. So did you ever notice that? As tomatoes ripen, their colors become shiny? I never really put that together. I just looked at it and go, so that looks good to me. The weight of the fruit begins to increase.
Yeah,
with
some
the
more than others, I feel like. Yeah.
Yeah, I give you some thought to it, definitely.
Yeah.
The weight of the fruit begins to increase with the firmness starts to give away. As tomatoes reach their peak ripeness, their aroma will become stronger, signaling they are ready. So if you smell it, guys, that's another thing. It's time to pick or time to look a lot more thoroughly. So that's how far you plant it, 1/8 deep, full sun tomato, container friendly. Make sure you start between 6 and 8 weeks before frost. 5 to 10 days to germinate. Yes, they germinate really, really fast. 85 days. See, somebody said it was a long time. 85 days. Make sure you plant them 18 to 36 inches apart. And the size for that, guys, it's 8 to 10 ounces. For a paste tomato, that's huge. German Johnson.
I grew that for the first time this year.
And how did you like that?
I liked it. I seem to have this thing like I'm searching for the perfect not orange, red/pink tomato. I have not found it yet, but that was a good solid tomato for sure.
So that was for it's for sauce. You can use it for sauce. The Jersey Devil. It's more like sauce and sauces is what you really want out of the Jersey Devil. I'm telling you, pizza sauce, guys, it is so good. It's perfect. Perfect tomato. Now the German Johnson. German Johnson is an odd name. It's a great tomato with a note of citrus and melon. It is a dark pink tomato when ripe that weighs around a pound once fully matured. This plant produces a season long. So it's all season long with huge yields. That's what I want to hear. Every time I look at tomatoes, Lauren, I see huge yields. I'm like, I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in. Fantastic quality of fruit is perfect for the home garden and farmer's market. Spacing is important with this variety because it's huge vines. So when you get those huge vines, you want more space. Leave a minimum of 3 feet between each plant for the best production. I would go closer to 4 feet. Jersey Devil's less. This is more poof out there. It's a vigorous plant, huge vines. 5 to 10 days to germinate. Get another tomato that it grows really, really fast. Fruits are generally a pound and a half. You could go to 2 pounds. Harvest. Tomatoes come in a variety of colors. Therefore, we can determine the ripeness through other senses. Well, on this tomato, that's a red tomato, a deep red tomato.
It's a classic. The German Johnson.
Their aroma will become stronger, just like the other tomatoes. Use clean shears, cut tomatoes from the stem, leaving the pedicle, the green top attached to the fruit. I don't know if I even said that right.
I've never heard that word.
Never even heard of it too. That's a good one. A 1/8 inch deep, full sun. So make sure you start indoors 6 to 8 weeks before last frost. The next tomato, Cherokee Purple. Now, most of the people have grown this. They said that's their favorite tomato. Now, I have not grown that great here. You notice that's a little flattened. That's happened to me each time, and that's generally the characteristic of the tomato. It is definitely a good tomato. I did get a lot of bug damage with that. You get a lot of cat facing up top, so you get some more gnats and stuff that come to that plant. So if you could grow it in a greenhouse, or some kind of shaded area, that's awesome if you could do that. If you want less cat facing, make sure you just pick a little earlier.
Yeah, I don't have any problems with Cherokee Purple. I've grown it for years. It's funny how just a little difference in our regions can be that different. But yeah, it grew like crazy, huge production this year. It was great.
I would definitely grow that every year, but I definitely get the cat face, and
That's interesting.
And I usually get about 8 ounce per tomato. So I don't know if that's the general, but here we go, 8 ounces. So maybe 6 ounces. They're not as big as I want. That's what it is.
Yeah. I definitely don't get huge tomatoes from Cherokee Purple. 8 ounces sounds about right for me too, but they're a classic for a reason. That is one delicious tomato.
So the description here, it says this Tennessee heirloom is believed to have been passed down by the Native Americans of the Cherokee tribe. The plant is often open pollinated into intermediate, bearing 8 ounce flattened globed fruits that are dark reddish purple and black in color. It is a meaty tomato and bold flavor. I would say this is the highest rated tomato that people want it for taste. Hands down, that's their favorite. Mine's the vintage wine, believe it or not. But the Cherokee Purple, excellent tomato. Yeah. Definitely recommend you definitely trying it out. I'm going to try mine out in a grow bag this year, see if I could grow a little differently.
I was going to say I'll send you some seeds, but no, you're getting my gardener seeds. You're all set.
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I'm good.
You're all set.
The harvest tomatoes come in a variety of colors. Same exact thing on the back here that we had said before. And that's something new. Haven't really noticed.
I have to look up pedicle. Have to do an anatomy of tomato lesson.
I haven't really noticed that in Luke's packets where it said the same exact thing. So that's pretty interesting. Now the big rainbow. Now I love these tomatoes this color. Yeah. I have absolutely fallen in love with the yellow reddish tomato. Yeah, so this is the big rainbow. Again, we're giving all these seeds out tonight. There's 41 people in the chat. So thank you guys for all
still. Wow.
So big rainbow tomato, intermediate. These tomatoes live up to their name. Giant tomatoes, about 1 and 2 pounds. So when you grow those 1 and 2 pounds tomatoes, you're going to have less tomatoes on a plant. Just always remember that. So if you're growing tons of tomatoes, maybe this plant might not be for you. But if you want to grow that huge tomato, a pretty big tomato, could be your type. So I believe you should all grow all different kind of variations. You also got to see what kind of season you are, because the larger the tomato, the larger the time you're going to grow. So as for example, this is 90 days. So make sure you start when you need to start, before your frost, which is 6 to 8 weeks before frost. Let me see. The most noteworthy thing about this variety is the color continues throughout the entire fruit. So you cut it, guys. It's a wow factor when you have family over. Like, what the heck is that?
It's art. It's beautiful.
Once cut, the fruit is swirling and tie-dye of orange, yellow, and red. A great all-purpose variety, which is what you want. A plant space in 36 inches apart, 90 days. Germination still 70 to 90 degrees. So 1/8 deep. That's how far you can plant it into the ground, which I would rather do your starts. It's just so much easier. We can't do that in New Jersey if you want a good harvest all season round, and you want to plant it in full sun. It's fun when you plant a tomato that you don't expect from the year before because they fell, and you're like, oh, look, a tomato's growing. I wonder what tomato plant that's going to be.
Yeah. I love that, volunteer tomatoes.
Now the giant crimson. We talked about this with Luke, and this is an old tomato that Luke brought back, guys, which is pretty awesome. Now the thing is this seed only has 5 seeds in the packet. Why? Because it's not out there. It's Luke's thing. So he found it on a shadow box on Etsy. So he found it there, and it was 85-year-old packet of seeds and 2 germinated. And so each year he has a farm growing this out, so it's getting more and more abundant for each tomato. It's been out of the cycle for 45 years, and Luke brought it back, which is pretty awesome. So when he started bringing it back, they were very small, but they're getting larger and larger the more he cycles out. Let me see. So plants produce decent amounts of tomatoes with a pink-red hue. When fully ripe, weighing around 8 to 10 ounces, sometimes close to a pound. So this tomato plant went for 4 ounces. It's already 8 to 10 ounces. So that tells you what's going on with the plant. It's starting to take its cycle to pretty good levels. The fruit is a bit of a beefsteak with some meatiness, but also juiciness of a slicer. Seeds are medium sized, but a few. So same kind of characteristics here on all the harvest of tomatoes, which I didn't know. Now, you know what? I like this tomato, the purple bumblebee. Have you ever had that?
No, we grew the sunrise bumblebee this year. And the breeder of this, Fred Hempel, just passed away. Fred Hempel of Artisan Seeds. He was fantastic and very talented breeder of sunrise bumblebee, purple bumblebee, pink bumblebee. But he really knew what he was doing. He will be missed.
Oh, he definitely missed.
I've heard really good things about the purple bumblebee. The sunrise was fantastic.
Now, for this plant, it has been very disease resistant for me. It grows really well where I live. A unique purple cherry variety with green marbling. Heavy yields will produce all season long on short vines. So you could plant them a little closer, but they grow very tall. They grow 7 feet tall easily for me. Crack resistance with fruits 1 to 5 inches around. The high acidity of this variety makes for a little tangy, less sweet flavor, ideal for fresh eating in salads and sandwiches. All these seeds are 2024. We already did the giant crimson there. So that is what that. So let me just look at the chat quick. Wyoming Adventures, welcome in. Thank you for coming. See if anybody else knew that.
A green stalker asked what exit I'm on. I'm not on an exit. I'm off of Route 78. I'm in Hardening County, if that gives you an idea of where I am at. No exit. Well, an exit off of Route 78, but I'm not the Garden State Parkway.
I used to be a little south of exit 9. It's funny when people talk exit.
Yeah. You know exactly where I am because you were at a tomato festival. We found out like right around the corner from me this summer.
Right around the corner.
Yeah,
and you didn't go.
No. You're in Warren County? If you walk like I'm on the Musconetcong River. So I'm in Asbury actually. So I'm in the Hardening County part of Asbury and there's a Warren County part of Asbury. Exit 3 off of 78. I'm exit 11. There you go. Small world.
Isn't it great? New Jersey.
Crazy.
With NOFA and everything up there. And there's so many places up in northwest New Jersey. It is amazing up there with for gardening resources, information, and everything. A tremendous place to get so much information. It really is. It's lacking down here. I'm going to try to bring that back out, out here, especially in the summer when everybody's visiting the shore. To try to have things at my house and do different things. And showcase
New Jersey's a beautiful state. I think we get everybody thinks of the Sopranos when they think of New Jersey, but they're only getting a very small part of New Jersey.
Exactly. North. If you go to the airport, that's not New Jersey.
No,
we consider that New York.
That's New York. Yeah, if you're flying in here and you're flying in New York, that's an unfortunate first glimpse of the state.
Dirty Jersey.
Yeah.
New Jersey is very hardworking people.
I can't believe you're in Warren County becoming a green stalker. That's funny. Awesome.
Yeah, there's surprisingly a lot more people in New Jersey that there's so many great gardeners in New Jersey. There's a reason why New Jersey is the garden state.
Yep. And while we have the best corn on the cob, we have the best corn, we've got the best tomatoes, blueberries. Like, there's a reason for that, for sure.
Well, it's people like you.
Back at you, my friend. Back at you.
So let's talk a little bit more about dwarf tomatoes before we start doing some contest. Anything you want to share more on the dwarf or micro? I know this is kind of just putting it out there because we didn't have this plan. But
yeah, well, we kind of did. I mean, I can show you a couple more that I haven't shown yet. I've been so fortunate since I started this micro dwarf tomato project and putting it out there to the group and stuff. So members from all over the world have been sending me varieties that I haven't been able to access here in the United States. So, and there's also a lot of really good vendors that now ship to the United States for very nominal price. Now I can't find the tag. I think this, oh, here it is. This one is called Midget Baby Yellow. And this is from Tomato Eden, a vendor in Latvia. And she ships to the United States for $6. I'm not even kidding you. And most seed packets are $2. So it's great. And this is a really fun variety. I have not tasted it yet, but nice and compact. What else? I already showed you. What is this one? Tiny Totem. One more. Oh, this one I reviewed yesterday, but I haven't put it up on the YouTube channel yet. This is one I got from a trade in Hungary, a member in Hungary. It's called Imola, Imola. And I have never, ever heard of anybody else having this one in the United States. So I'm curious to, or I'm not curious, I did taste it. I'm anxious to get it up and sharing it with you guys. But you know what? If I would encourage you all to try it. If you love tomatoes, try a variety or two. You know, seeds are easy to come by. If you join my group, we have Micro Dwarf Monday where people exchange seeds, and you know, they're fun. It's something fun in the winter to get your hands in the dirt. Well, a little bit of dirt, but hands in the dirt, and enjoy the flavor of tomatoes. And they really can be good ones. And I am going to try them all. I am convinced of it. But they can really range from anywhere from, like, Nina Neutron is 3 inches tall up to, you know, 2 feet. So you kind of have to pay attention to the heights and what your growing area is like and what your light situation is.
Thank you so much, Jane, for showing the link. I appreciate that.
Yes, thank you. What a great producer. I'm excited we're going to have a producer. I don't know if Michael's still here.
So Teresa says, what does maturity in 90 days mean? First tomato or end of the growing season?
Oh, that's a good question. I think that's first tomato.
First tomato.
Right? Don't you agree?
I agree. Yeah. First tomato.
Yeah.
There you go. Dana Smith. Can you grow micros inside without lights?
That's a great question. Yes, you can. I grew, they will get very tall though, let me tell you. So I had 2 that I was experimenting. I love to experiment. A variety called Monetka and another one called Joe Chalos or Joe Halos that I put in coffee mugs on my kitchen windowsill. And they've actually been there since January. And that's it. It's just, and it's a windowsill. How did I get a thumbs down on me? I'm not sure how that happened. It's constantly searching for light. It's not a window that gets a tremendous amount of light, especially this time of year, but it's produced a couple times since January. So you don't have to have a grow light. It is optimal, but you can absolutely do it as long as you have a sunny window. You can, and I encourage you to.
Going back to what Jerry says, that giant crimson must be awesome. I tell you what, when you're generating those seeds and all of a sudden you see that first 2 seeds coming up, you're like, I can't believe it's growing. I can't believe it's growing. And he almost killed it a couple times because he was not there.
Yeah, I followed along with that years ago.
Yeah, it was so exciting. And now you're starting to get what the tomato's really supposed to be like. You know, the first year I heard the taste was not the expectations everybody thought, but every year everybody's trying it, the better it gets. And there we go. Look at you, Jujubi.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It's this tiny little, I have one in the other room, tiny little orange micro dwarf. It's an indeterminate. I've got one, both. I've got 2 plants actually that have been going since January, meaning that, and they'll produce, and then sometimes I have to prune it back a little bit and it will continue to produce. That's something I did not realize about micro dwarfs when I started on this path, that any of them would be indeterminate. But they are. Not all of them. Some of them are definitely determinate, but a lot of them, more than I expected, will continue to produce if you just keep it watered, and sometimes I'll freshen up the soil, give it some some of that Neptune's Harvest crab and lobster, and maybe even up pot it sometimes, prune it back. It'll continue to produce. It's really exciting and fun.
There you go. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good cheap way to do it for sure. Those
So guys,
clip-on with shop lights can work just fine with it, and they sell the grow light bulbs. You can use that too.
So 3 of the tomato plants, through all seed packets I'm given, is from Buddy Hop.
Tartufo. I'm friends with Ellie from Bunny Hop Seeds, who puts out a lot of these varieties. That is a really tasty micro Tartufo.
Ellie is great. One of the kindest persons I've ever met.
Yes.
When my son was going through cancer, she donated a whole bunch of stuff to us, and that was very kind. And I've been buying from her since after that.
She released 3 new micros this year. I've got them all. I'd started. I should show what my starts look like. But she's got a green one, ripe one called Jewel Beetle that just came out. That's exciting. One called Super Bunny and one called Bunny Kisses.
And the germination rates are great. And she has so much pride in what she gives you. Yeah. Sometimes it could be, when I first started ordering, you get the seeds like that, but she's so busy right now. We've been promoting her. We've been promoting Bunny Hop for the last 3 years.
Yeah, she's
so
great.
I hope you guys been going over there and ordering some. But we are in my gardener. It's so hard when I've been seeds for everybody, and I'm like, I got to be in my gardener. But today I'm going to give 3 packets away, something else. I'm also giving away Aztec.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one too. Very tasty.
And Pygmy.
Yeah. That was one of the very first ones I reviewed, I think, back when I first started the project.
So I'm going to say 3 questions in the chat. Then we're going to take our turns. Lauren's going to ask a couple. And then we'll come back to me because I got to figure out something to say because I haven't figured out my second question yet. I expected Courtney here today. Courtney had to do a family thing. Courtney had to do, she had some family stuff to do today, so she apologized for not staying here the whole time. Okay. Question to win these seeds. What is my brother's and sister's name? You got to name both. This is for this tomato. It's a micro. What is my brother's and sister's name? Gotta name both. Let's see how much people know about me. Who listens? Oh, not Julie. That's my wife. But we got one right.
Yeah.
So we got John so far, but we got to name both. So you guys are looking not just for you're looking for a girl's name. Just a little clue. So, and it's not Julie. That's my wife. So my brother's John and my sister is, nope, not Mary. So she just got married 3 weeks ago.
You got a John and Ann there?
Not an Ann, not a Lisa. See, I guess this was a tough question.
Yeah.
No, Jane. If I give you a clue, it starts with a J. Now here, no, Jane. John and got to name both. John and something with it starts with a J. Not Kelly. Nope. Nope. Jan. Nope. Not a Jan. Not a Jean.
Somebody said Jolene.
Not a Jackie. Jackie's my wife. My mom. Not a Jessica. Nope, not a June. Not a Jill. This is great. You guys are learning
They're
something.
going through all the J names.
John and Jennifer, Riverdale Gardens.
Hey, congratulations.
Please email me at gardenstategarden@yahoo.com. So what you got?
I just want to show you guys. These are, I mentioned that we're doing a micropalooza in Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. People started November 1st or later growing micro dwarf seeds. I just wanted to show you how I start my seeds. These are, they weren't all started November 1st, but most of them. So I start them in these little 2-inch pots, and then eventually they'll get up potted into those other things. But aren't they, they're just so cute. Unfortunately, like I grow all this and I'm like, where am I going to put them? I don't know, but I'll figure out a spot. All right, so I need to ask a question now. Is that how it works?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm not
No,
sure how it works.
let me do 3, and you do 3.
Yeah, okay.
So it's easier to write down.
Yep.
So the next winner is going to win an Aztec tomato. Now, I mentioned this numerous times on my channel. Some of it for laughing giggles, but it's true. What's my favorite paste tomato? It's huge. That's my clue. Huge paste tomato. Huge. There we go. Juby. Goat bag. What a name.
Oh.
So this is what Juliana won.
Aztec. Yeah, you can't go wrong with bunny hop seeds. They're fantastic.
Love it. And the last winner for my micros is the pygmy tomato. What is Courtney's husband's name? Is not his name, but his YouTube name. How well is people listening in the chat? Juby got it. She gets King Poobah. So congratulations to Juliana, double winner. As you can see, she teaches in a school. Sort of in a kind of way. She does. She's with kids all day.
That's a good thing.
That's an awesome thing. Okay, you're up.
All right, so how about we work it like this? I want to give away like a prize package of my 5 favorite micros. So I'll do Vilma, Tiny Totem. Actually, they're not all 5 favorites. 2 are new. Chubby Bunny, which is one of Bunny Hop's. Gigi's Glory, Multiflora, and Woolly's Worg. I'll give that away 3 times. So a pack of 5 seeds 3 times. That sound like a good plan?
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Awesome.
So,
now, do you want everybody to email me, or do you want them to just email you, find your email so they can go to your site? What do you want to do? Do you want them to just go to me?
They can email you, I guess, just to make it easier. And then I guess that's easier. Or I can give I can give my email address. It's lauren@gratitudeaddict.com. If you can, Jane.
You got that, Jane? Jane, see if you could post that. Let's say it one more time for
Lauren@gratitudeaddict.com.
So just email both of us, guys. So I can put it in my thing. So email both of us, just link us together. And it works out great that way.
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Bingo.
All right, so I'll do like a personal one, but I'll also do one that anybody could get. What company uses the most tomatoes in the world?
I definitely got to get music for this.
Yep, Michael got it. I was counting on you for the personal ones. Yeah, Heinz. 2 million tons, and they use it in ketchup, pasta, sauces, and soups. Fines, good one. So, Michael, you know where to find me. I've probably given you most of these already, but we'll work something else out. The next one would be what is my favorite tomato? Not micro, my favorite regular tomato. This would unfortunately only be for people that are in the group. Let's change it. Let's change it to let's change it to my, I don't think I did say it tonight. So that's really not fair. What is my favorite micro, or at least it has been my favorite micro. I have said it a few times tonight. Not Joe Chalos. Banana Samar, no, but that's my Haley got my favorite tomato. And who got Vilma, Becoming a Green Stalker. I'll give it to both of you guys. Haley and Becoming a Green Stalker, you can both win that one, because Malachite Box is my favorite regular tomato, and Vilma is my favorite micro. So I'll give it to you both. And then let's see, what's a good third? Oh, okay. Well, this may be an unfair one too to people that don't know me. What would be another good one? How many varieties of micro dwarfs are there? This should be a pretty easy one. Yes, me and my shadow, you're right.
Whoop, whoop.
You guys who I know through the group, if you could private message me, we'll work on your prizes. 300. Yeah, you got it. She got it. Congratulations. So I will, Michael says million billion. So you guys each win the Vilma, Tiny Totem, Chubby Bunny, which I thought, talk about Luke bringing back Giant Crimson. Chubby Bunny is one of Ellie's creations that I don't believe even Ellie has seeds for anymore. But an Etsy seller, Woodland Creations, has just brought it back into the swing of things, and I brought some extra packs. So that one's in there. And then a member of our group created this new micro called Gigi's Glory Multiflora micro. I think it's the first multiflora micro dwarf. So you guys will all get those. So we'll give away 4 of those. Thank you guys for watching. This was a lot of fun.
I got a couple more.
Oh, okay.
Because I got to give my gardener seeds away.
Oh, right.
So if you have a question anytime after mine, whatever you want to say, it's all good with me. So the first winner is the Purple Bumblebee. Now there's a Rutgers tomato that just got introduced on an anniversary of the tomato. It's supposed to be a better tomato than the one before. So Rutgers tomato they just had an anniversary a couple years ago, and I want the name of that tomato. A very popular tomato. I gave you a clue right to the name. Nope.
I don't know the answer to this. I should, but I don't.
A tomato. No, it's a tomato. Nope. Oh, David Gray is close. Now watch it. It's pretty funny. I got an Indiana thing right over there from David Gray. Because everybody gave me some ornaments last year to put on a tree for my site. And so I'm a Rutgers guy. Give me the Indiana one.
Nice.
It's a Rutgers something.
Rutgers.
To celebrate the anniversary. And here's another clue. It's a number. 3 numbers. 1 to 300. Name a number between 1 and 300. 250. There we go. Here's the winner. It's record's 250.
Michael, your big winner tonight.
So you want a purple bumblebee. So Michael, just make sure you email me at gardenstategardener@yahoo.com. And Jane's been probably posting that. So that's how, if you don't email me, I have a hard time looking at my notes. Just telling you the truth. Right. So make sure you email me. If you email me, you'll definitely get your stuff because I get a little behind on things. Put those over here. Okay, the next winner will win. 1 second, I want to make sure. 1 second. I messed this up. I almost screwed up my notes already. You believe that?
I do it all the time. You know what? I just remembered, and I should have remembered this earlier, but Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, our members wanted a pepper group. So last week we started Pepper Lovers Collective and Swap, run by 3 members who are going to moderate, who know a lot more about peppers than I do. So if you're a pepper head, take a look out for that. Pepper Lovers Collective and Swap.
Okay. This is a general question. That's not going to include tomatoes, though. Okay, I got one. What is the most tomato plants that I ever started at one time? So how many tomato plants did I have out in my backyard at one time? How many varieties? Not how many tomato plants, how many varieties?
Getting some big numbers there.
David Gray was
David
close.
Gray says 5 million, 5 billion.
Susan Goulet, 300.
Wow.
So congratulations, Susan Goulet. You have a question to give everybody? Or not yet? To think of one.
I did, and now I lost it.
So the next winner is going to win the big rainbow. Okay.
I think I have a good question that's tomato related. It's kind of a guessing one.
Okay.
You want that?
Yes.
Maybe we can do it within, well, I don't know. It's your show, you decide. But how many pounds of tomatoes does the average American eat in a year? I don't know how close you want to get to it, like within 5 or...
Within 5. We asked this question. We actually had this information earlier today.
Ah, so if you were listening, you would know. Oh, Becoming a Green Stalker got it right on the nose. 31. Nice.
It used to be 24. And it's
oh, that's right. We did talk about this. It was like hours ago.
Was it days ago?
It feels like it. In a good way.
Okay. The next winner is going to win. Oh, I think I really screwed this up. Make sure you guys... That was right. I didn't screw up my stats. So make sure you email me, guys. I'll turn this page. Oh, my God. The next winner is going to win the Cherokee Purple.
Yum.
There's 25 seeds in the packet, too. Cherokee Purple. I used to have my friend Reed go behind me and do all this stuff, but he moved to South Carolina.
Oh.
And so now he used to write everything down. I would just talk. And now it's like, I can't read my own handwriting. I can't even see my handwriting. Okay. See how well people have listened. My mom has cancer. And she has stage 4 cancer. What kind of cancer does she have? Guess this is going to be part of my life for a while, so. And I know it's a very odd question. But I would like to see who actually listens. Janice, congratulations.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, we've been through a lot in our family.
Yeah.
A lot of issues for the last couple of years. So it's it is what it is. It's called life.
Yeah.
We all go through a lot of instances. We just got to remember the times that the people appreciate what they, appreciate them.
Yes.
We don't appreciate people anymore in society. Right. It's really sad. Family's been taken out of society. Used to be the wife used to be home taking care of the family. Man used to work, and now I don't have any issues with women working. Don't get me wrong. It's just that society, everybody has to work all the time, and nobody's caring about the family as a family, and that's kind of stinks.
Yeah.
So, welcome back, Gil. Welcome back. Yeah, we're still alive. We're still alive, Gil. We're at the very end.
Barely.
So, okay, German Johnson tomato. We got 2 more seed packets left. This and the Jersey Devil. German Johnson. Okay. Let me see a question. Where did Luke find the giant crimson tomato? How did Luke find the German Johnson tomato? So if you guys answer this, you guys know it because this has been said the last 2 lives. So you guys, when you go to his site, you guys know the answer right away.
You're getting a lot of Etsy.
Shadowbox, and Etsy. Ooh, I wonder how I could say that. So I want to say Shadowbox as the answer because that's where it was, a Shadowbox.
Oh.
What do you think? I think we have to go with Shadowbox.
I don't even know what Shadowbox is. Is it like an Etsy?
This is like a frame, a box, but he got it. He got it on Etsy, but he found it in Shadowbox on that site.
Oh, gotcha.
So where did he? I said, yeah. Where did he find it? Wow, that's a tough one. I'm trying to decipher a little bit. So let's go to the first. Let's go. You know what? These last two guys, this will be my last seeds I'm going to give out. The first one has said Etsy and will win the German Johnson, and the Jersey Devil will win whoever said Shadowbox. So the first one has said Etsy looks like Juliana. So Juliana wins the German Johnson. And the Jersey Devil will go whoever said Shadowbox. Ooh, picture frame. I really want to say picture frame. But they've been using Shadowbox, so David Gray. I know it's basically the same thing, but everybody's been saying Shadowbox.
Yeah.
I say picture, but it is Shadowbox. So what's the difference?
Cool.
So guys, that's what we're going to give away today. And thank you guys for spending all this time with us, all 3 hours. And Lauren, thank you so much. And thank you all our mods for helping out and making this run nice and smooth tonight. I really appreciate it. We have over 1,000 time units or whatever they said on. And we're probably going to get 2,000 subscribers by the end of the week, which is absolutely amazing. I hope you guys see us all over the place on YouTube because we try to support as much as we can in either watch hours, questions, friendships, giving, and any other kind of way.
You do. You are always supporting my channel, my little channel. You're very good like that. And thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I'm very happy you asked me back, and it's really a lot of fun talking tomatoes with you and just hanging with you for a couple hours. And with all of you guys.
Oh, what is a Shadowbox frame? I think it's just basically a frame, like really regular frame.
Like a setback frame that usually displays things, like people will put like golf balls in there and trinkets and things like that.
One last thing, guys, because I want to make sure. Is there any other questions for Lauren really quick? I'm not here to answer 20 of them right now. All of a sudden pop up. Is there any last? I don't want to make anybody like, oh, I should have asked Lauren something like that. We've been here for 3 hours. Another question's not going to hurt. So if there's any other questions, all caps, please, so we can answer right away. Otherwise, we're going to end this live. Besides Jay's question was, what is a shadow box frame? But we got that. So hope you guys laughed and learned a little bit tonight, created relationships, and this whole cycle of friends and community, it is so perfect together. Whoop. Nice meeting you. I'll be back again. Thank you, Wyoming. Whoop. Every time I click on it, it's moving. Juby, I freaking love you and your amazing card.
Same. I was so happy when you joined the group after the last time I was on, because the three of us just really clicked the last time I was on, and you are just adorable. So right back at you, my friend. Thank you.
Yankee Sister Homestead had fun. Awesome. And Jerry just says 31. A little behind.
Delayed reaction. Jerry, my friend. Jerry's another supportive guy. He's wonderful.
Oh,
and
yeah.
All of you guys watching from TLC, thank you for hanging in there all these 3 hours. 3 hours. Tomatoes still too short. I agree. I
want to learn more about growing. So on Tuesdays, we have interviews. This Sunday, we have somebody from the UK called the Gardening Ho.
That's a good name.
The Gardening Ho. And she's from the UK, so it's going to be 2 o'clock in the morning to start the show, I guess. And she's going to be on for a little bit while on Sunday I give away seeds for those that don't know it all night long. Have a little interview in between, and we just share out and have a little bit of fun. Tuesdays we have interviews. We're working on some special people. Some people you don't think will ever come on. That's what we're working on. And on Thursdays, we do growing guides. So, this Tuesday I won't be here, but, Courtney will and Dr. Paula Ruffin will. And we'll talk about that topic probably on Sunday Fun Day. So anyway, guys, thank you guys, everyone, for being with us tonight. We appreciate it. And hope you guys learned, laughed, and created those relationships. Anyway, I'll see you guys on Sunday Fun Day. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.